Chapter 315. Yi Qinghan quickly cleaned up the corpses and collected the spoils of war. After that, he released 1,000 men beheading again and chopped all the corpses into pieces. Even their mothers could not recognize them. At the same time, he sent old General Liu, who was still kneeling on the ground, into the carefree pavilion. Then he ran away like a wisp of smoke. Less than 10 minutes after Yi Qinghan left, a group of golden-robed men rushed over. The leader was the god-slaying guard with the garlic nose. The god-slaying guard was originally with Tu Qianjun. However, they had too many people and accidentally triggered the teleportation device. So, he and some of them were teleported away. With the help of the Divine City's special sensing sacred tool, he barely sensed Tu Qianjun's location. Then, he hurried over with his men. However, when he arrived, he found minced meat all over the ground. "My lord, it's young master and old Yi." A few of his men identified and found a fact that made them tremble. The minced meat on the ground was Tu Qianjun and the rest. Tu Qianjun was dead. Bang! The god-slaying guard breathed out a mouthful of air from his garlic nose. His expression became extremely ferocious, and he punched the wall of the passageway, creating a huge hole in the passageway. When he saw the minced meat all over the ground, he knew that something had happened. "Barbarian race and demon race, you old things, you've gone too far. Do you know that? 6 slaying, 7 slaying, 6 slaying, 7th slaying back to the Divine City as soon as possible and send more men over. Damn it, you've gone too far. This time, you've really gone too far." The god-slaying guard quickly gave the order. He did not think much and immediately blamed Tu Qianjun and Old Ye's deaths on the barbarian race and demon race. Because the old sages of the House of Ares and Hidden Island were still fighting outside. The only people who could kill Old Yi were the martial sages of the barbarian race and demon race in the passageway. Chase after them. If you can't find the real culprit, all of you will be buried with him. The god-slaying guard roared angrily. He did not even look at the minced meat on the ground and rushed forward. At this moment, Yi Qinghan was running wildly. He heaved a sigh of relief when he saw a teleportation device. He stepped on it and disappeared into the passageway. Killing Tu Qianjun was not a small matter. If someone found out about it, this could become a huge matter. At this moment, before he had enough strength and influence, he could not go against the Divine City. If a young man fought with an adult, others would say that he was brave, but if a child challenged a strong man, that wasn't bravery, it was stupidity. "Elder Liu, where is the fragrance beast? Are there any warriors nearby?" As soon as he was teleported, Yi Qinghan immediately looked around and asked after discovering that there was no danger. Elder Liu sent a telepathic message over to Zhang Xian. "Yes, it's not too far away. It's still quite a distance away. Head towards the fork on the right." Yi Qinghan did not hesitate. With the slaughter god's saber in his hand, he headed in the direction that Elder Liu had pointed. As he walked, he asked Elder Liu, "Dark Moon, how is she? How can she be?" "Same as before. Her body is temporarily controlled by that Tu Qianjun. However, Tu Qianjun did not remove the demonic technique. I reckon that it will take some time before it disappears completely. This demonic technique is related to the soul. I'm not proficient in it, so I don't dare to act recklessly." Elder Liu said after pondering for a while. "Soul seed? It's a soul seed, right? How do I remove it? If I don't remove it, won't he be controlled by the Divine City for the rest of his life?" Yi Qinghan was anxious. This was the first time he had heard of such a thing. He felt that it was extremely evil and terrifying. "Go left. I've already said that I'm not proficient in the soul. I don't have a solution. Unless Lord Devour takes action, it will definitely work." Elder Liu sighed helplessly as he gave Yi Qinghan directions. "Lord Devour? You know Lord Devour? That's impossible. It's impossible for him to help me. There's no need to think too much. Is there no other way?" Yi Qinghan was puzzled. How did Elder Liu know Lord Devour? Could it be that Lord Devour was a powerful existence in the divine world? However, when he recalled Lord Devour's cold words in the Dark Castle, he felt that it was impossible to beg Lord Devour. After all, Lord Devour had said that even if he died, he wouldn't take action. At most, he would save Xiao He before he died. There's another way. Elder Lu's words stunned Yi Qinghan. He was pleasantly surprised. However, his next sentence didn't make him happy. Kill the owner of the soul seed. Then, all the people who have been implanted with the soul seed will be saved. Kill the owner of the soul seed? Yi Qinghan smiled helplessly. According to Tu Qianjun, the owner of the soul seed was either a god-slaying guard or the owner of the divine city. The divine master, Tu Qianjun. If it was the god-slaying guard, there was still a chance. However, if it was the divine master, Tu Qianjun, who was a legendary ferocious person who had single-handedly defeated the god-grade experts of the wild continent several thousand years ago, it would be extremely difficult. Divine Master, do you know what level of expert he is? Can you deal with him? Yi Qinghan pondered for a while and asked Elder Lu with a glimmer of hope. If he could defeat him, he would make use of Elder Lu's opportunity to kill the Divine Master. After all, Elder Lu was a peak heavenly celestial. That Baldy from the Divine City? He is also a peak heavenly celestial. If we were in the Divine World or other planes, I would have a 50% chance of defeating him. However, in the Fire Dragon plane, even Tenami wouldn't be his match. In this plane, only Lord Devour can kill him. He can easily kill other god-grade experts. Elder Lu's words shocked Yi Qinghan. He paused for a moment and asked in surprise, how can the difference be so great? How can he be so strong in the Fire Dragon plane? This doesn't make sense. If they were both at the peak heavenly celestial, Elder Lu would have a 50% chance of defeating him. However, in the Fire Dragon plane, even Elder Lu wouldn't be his match. What was going on? There are many things you don't know. I'll tell you later. Turn left quickly. The spirit beast is not far away. Elder Lu reminded Yi Qinghan. Not far away? Yi Qinghan didn't say much. He increased his speed to the maximum and ran at full speed. Turn left, turn right, turn left. After a while, he stopped again. This time, it wasn't because he had reached the destination or seen the civet beast. Instead, there was another narrow opening in front of him. This time, the narrow opening was filled with a faint purple light. What's going on? Why am I so unlucky again? Yi Qinghan was puzzled. It was fine if it was the first time he encountered such a thing. Now that he was about to reach the destination, it was strange that something like this happened again. It's not that I'm unlucky. I guess wrong. The mechanism here isn't moving, but hidden. It will appear as soon as someone approaches. No wonder no one has approached the civet beast for so long. So that's why? Elder Lu answered Yi Qinghan's doubts after a moment of silence. What should we do then? We can't just enter a treasure mountain and return empty-handed. Yi Qinghan was helpless. He could only hope that Elder Lu would come up with a solution. Of course, Elder Lu had a solution. After a moment of silence, he said helplessly, "Nonsense. This civet beast can help you enter the Saint Realm quickly. Of course, we can't let it go. All right, I'll use a strand of my divine power to help you break this mechanism." Chapter 316. Get closer to it. Don't touch the mechanism. Move your hand closer to it so that it won't cause too much of a disturbance. Elder Lu continued to instruct Yi Qinghan through voice transmission. Yi Qinghan slowly extended his left hand and moved the freedom ring closer to the purple light on the wall. "Stop! Don't move. I will take care of the rest." Elder Lu transmitted his voice again. Then, the freedom ring shone with a black stream of air. It flowed out like a black stream and landed on the ball of purple light. Then, the black stream of air quickly spread out on the purple light. The purple light started to flicker continuously. The black and purple colors intertwined, creating a beautiful sight. After a while, the purple light gradually dimmed, and the black stream of air shrunk. Finally, it returned to the freedom ring. "It's done. Let's go." Yi Qinghan was overjoyed. He quickly took out the Slaughter God Saber from the freedom ring and rushed in with his battle chi. Once he entered the narrow passage, the terrain suddenly widened. The further he walked, the brighter it became. Finally, his field of vision suddenly became extremely wide. He had arrived at a super large cave. Civet beast. At a glance, Yi Qinghan saw a strange magical beast sleeping soundly on a stone platform in the middle of the cave that was paved with unknown white feathers. This demonic beast was only the size of 2 palms. It looked like a mink and a fox at the same time. From head to toe, it was covered in pink fur that emitted a faint glow. There were 3 horns on its head, and it was snoring softly. The 3 horns were swaying continuously. That's right, this is a spirit beast. This spirit beast is considered a treasure in the divine world. It is very beneficial to martial artists below the divine tier. Quickly get closer to it. If it wakes up, get closer to it as fast as you can. As long as you can get within 10 meters of it, I can help you capture it silently. Elder Lu was so close to this demonic beast that he was even more certain that it was a civet beast. He quickly urged Yi Qinghan, and Yi Qinghan sheathed the slaughter god's saber on his back. He did not dare to use form transposition or fly in the air. Instead, he used extremely gentle footwork and a vulgar expression as he approached the civet beast. He was like a thief who had sneaked into a girl's boudoir in the middle of the night. 1,000 meters, 800 meters, 500 meters. The excitement in Yi Qinghan's eyes grew brighter, and the smile on his face became more wanton. Of course, his footwork was still as gentle and wretched as ever as he continued to approach. 300 meters, 200 meters, 100 meters. Got it. Yi Qinghan looked at the sleeping Li Xiang beast, and the smile on his face widened infinitely. His figure flashed, and without hesitation he used position transposition and flashed toward the civet beast. Elder Lu, do it. Yi Qinghan immediately teleported to the side of the civet beast. However, he didn't make a move. Instead, he let Elder Lu do it. Squeak! Of course, the civet beast woke up. Yi Qinghan's position transposition had caused a disturbance in the space. No matter how sleepy it was, it still had the most basic of spiritual senses. When it saw a human suddenly appear beside it, its eyes widened instantly. Its 6 legs exerted force at the same time, and its body turned into a sharp sword as it flashed to the right. Too late. At this moment, a stream of air suddenly emerged from Yi Qinghan's freedom ring. This stream of air quickly turned into a translucent giant hand, which directly grabbed the civet beast. Then, it quickly retracted and disappeared into the freedom ring. Nice! Yi Qinghan's eyes were full of smiles. His tense body finally relaxed, and at the same time, he trembled with excitement. Although he didn't know the specific use of the civet beast, it didn't stop him from analyzing the value of the civet beast from Elder Lu's words. How could something that could quickly help him break through to the Saint Realm be ordinary? One had to know that he was only at the 1st level of the Emperor Realm. His battle aura was still at the 2nd level, let alone his understanding of the laws. Now, he actually said that it could speed up. When Elder Lu said that it could speed up, it had to be absolute speed. Let's go home and hug our wives. Yi Qinghan laughed lewdly. The civet beast had stopped attacking, and he had brought Dark Moon back to Tsang City. Now that the matter was resolved, what was the point of staying here? He couldn't wait to go back and tell this good news to Yi Qingyu and Yi Qingwu. Wait. Yi Qinghan was about to run away, but Elder Lu's words made him stop. You idiot! Why are you in such a hurry? Time is not a problem. Hurry up, there are a few spiritual herbs growing in this cave. Hurry up and pick them. I'll teach you how to pick them. They are good stuff for you. There are spiritual herbs? We've struck it rich this time. When Yi Qinghan heard this, his eyes suddenly lit up like an old pervert who had just seen a naked young girl. He quickly followed Elder Lu's instructions and ran around the cave. In the study room of the Immortal Slaying Tower, the Slaying God Guard put down the book in his hand uneasily. His right eyelid had been twitching for the whole morning, and his heart was palpitating as if something big was about to happen. At their realm, they were already halfway to the divine realm. Occasionally, there would be some ominous omens in their hearts. But this morning, his heart had been palpitating nonstop. Now his eyelid was twitching, and he finally couldn't calm down. It shouldn't be a big deal. With the Divine Lord in the Divine City, of course, nothing will happen. Could it be Qianjun? Oh no, go to the Jade Slip room and check young Master's soul Jade Slip. The more Tu Qianjun thought about it, the more uneasy he felt. He decided to check it out so that he could be at ease. All these years, he had been following the Divine Lord and was bestowed with a holy technique to cultivate the soul. His soul cultivation was not bad, so he created a soul jade slip for all the important figures in the family. Tu Qianjun naturally had one too. As long as the jade slip was fine, Tu Qianjun would definitely be fine. Swish! A moment later, a golden-robed envoy flashed in. He didn't say anything, but knelt down. His body was trembling nonstop as he held a jade slip with both hands. When the slaying god guard saw the jade slip, his eyes suddenly turned scorching hot and then blood red. The corner of his mouth started to twitch, and his body started to tremble gradually. Finally, he waved his hand and sent out a huge golden palm that enveloped the kneeling golden-robed envoy. Bang! A huge energy explosion blasted a huge hole in the study room's wall, and the golden-robed envoy was smashed into meat paste. The powerful shockwave caused tens of thousands of books in the study room to be blown into the air, and paper shreds flew everywhere. Someone passed down my order. All the martial artists in the family who are above the arch class, get over here and wait for my orders. The slaying god guard roared furiously as he flew out of the huge hole and towards the Divine Lord Pavilion in the Divine City. Master, the slaying god guard requests an audience. The slaying god guard had a gloomy expression as he flew to the Divine Lord Pavilion. He knelt down on one knee at the entrance and shouted. Chapter 317. Come in. An indifferent voice rang out. The massacre god guard had a gloomy expression. He didn't care about the surprised gaze of the golden-robed man at the entrance of the Divine Lord Pavilion and dashed into the Divine Lord Pavilion. Master, please help me. Qianjun has been killed. The massacre god guard walked into the study room and saw the Divine Lord reading a book outside the window with his back facing the door. The massacre god guard quickly knelt down and kowtowed to the Divine Lord. Ah! The Divine Lord let out a surprised sound and turned his head around slowly. A pair of strange eyes flickered as he looked at the massacre god guard and said, Qianjun is not in the city? Tell me what happened. Didn't the civet beast appear not long ago? I have also reported to you that the civet beast appeared in the barbaric mountain range. Massacre God Wei brought his men over, and Qianjun wanted to follow. I sent Elder Yi to protect him, but something happened. Massacre God Wei's eyes were filled with tears. He had a son at an old age, and this son of his did not disappoint him. He had cultivated to the Emperor realm at such a young age. Although his aptitude wasn't top-notch, it was still not bad. He had hoped that Tu Qianjun would take over his position in the future, but unexpectedly, wait, let me check. The Divine Lord closed his eyes, and his expression didn't change much. Instead, the tattoo on his bald head seemed to have come to life and started to twist. The massacre god guard looked at the Divine Lord's shiny bald head with hope. He knew that the Divine Lord would definitely take action if he could find out who killed Tu Qianjun. However, the Divine Lord definitely wouldn't let him act recklessly if he couldn't find out who killed Tu Qianjun. How is it? The Divine Lord opened his eyes slowly after a while, and the massacre god guard asked anxiously, I can't find out the exact situation. Everyone is in the center of the barbaric mountain range, and many of them are in that cave. My divine senses can't check the situation inside. The Divine Lord shook his head slightly. Master, how is this possible? Is there a place in the Fire Dragon continent that your divine senses can't check? The massacre god guard panicked when he heard that. However, the moment he said that, he knew that he had said something wrong, and he quickly kowtowed again. Are you doubting my words? The Divine Master snorted coldly, and a look of dissatisfaction flashed in his eyes. When he saw the massacre god guards kowtowing again, he explained after a moment, that cave was the abode of a very powerful sky god in the past. The restrictions he set up were very mysterious. If I don't enter the cave, I can't investigate. Then what should we do? When the massacre god guard heard that, he became even more flustered and exasperated. His eyes flickered as he clenched his teeth and said, Master, can you please take a step forward and investigate? As long as you can help me take revenge, I will forever be your sole slave. Divine Master 2 was clearly displeased with the bold request of the god-slaying guard. With a cold snort, he turned around and actually said nothing more. Bang, bang, bang. The massacre god guard also knew that his request was too much. However, he was currently dizzy from hatred, so he did not speak. Instead, he kept kowtowing to the Lord God, causing the floor to produce loud bangs. I won't make a move. That cave is currently occupied by a divine beast, and that divine beast is related to the dark forest. I can't deal with that old thing for now. Therefore, we can't attack. After a while, perhaps the pleading of the god-slaying guards had moved the Master God. The Master God actually started to explain. However, as he spoke, he paused again and looked into the distance. Then he used a very cold tone to ask them to leave. That Tanuki beast should have been captured by someone, and that divine beast is running towards the barbaric mountains from the dark forest. You don't have to beg. It's useless even if you beg. I won't make a move. You can leave now. When the massacre god guard heard the Lord God's increasingly cold voice, he knew that the Lord God had already made up his mind. After following the Lord God for so many years, he was very clear that Lord God would definitely not change his mind once he made up his mind. He kowtowed on the ground again and left in a daze. You can mobilize the people in the divine city. Go and investigate yourself. Once you find out, I will help you. Remember, just investigate and don't make a move. Otherwise, if there's a mess, you can kill yourself. When the massacre god guard was walking out in a daze, a faint voice transmission entered his ears. This made the massacre god guard perk up, and he hurriedly flew towards the immortal slaying tower. A moment later, countless horse carriages came out of the divine city's west gate and rushed towards the east, bringing up clouds of dust. This is the Kirin fruit. Wow, I'm going to be rich this time. Yi Qinghan held a bright and glistening fiery red fruit and swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva. He took another look and threw it into the unfettered ring. Elder Lu, do you have more? Quick, this place is good. There are so many good things. Yi Qinghan rubbed his hands again and transmitted a message to Elder Lu. In the dark area of the cave, just now, he actually plucked 3 types of spiritual medicine and spiritual fruits that only appeared in books and legends. These spiritual medicine and spiritual fruits grew in a remote area and seemed to be isolated by something. Without Elder Lu's help, Yi Qinghan would definitely not have discovered them. That was why he continued to ask for Elder Lu's help. Elder Lu? Yi Qinghan hurriedly asked in surprise when Elder Lu didn't respond to his transmission. Quick, run. There's a divine beast approaching us. We'll be in trouble if we're discovered. Elder Lu finally transmitted a message over, but it made Yi Qinghan's face change drastically. Divine beast. There's actually a divine beast approaching. There's no need to run. Its divine sense is already locked onto you. You can't run away. Just wait here. Listen to my instructions later. Yi Qinghan was just about to run away when he heard Elder Lu's transmission. Damn, locked onto? Yi Qinghan wanted to cry, but had no tears. At this moment, he finally understood why there was such a strange transmission array mechanism in this place. It was clearly to protect the civet beast, and the inexplicable restriction on the spirit herbs and spirit fruits was also set up by someone. Just now, he had a faint suspicion that this cave had an owner. He hadn't expected that his suspicions would come true. He had captured the owner's disciple and taken the owner's spiritual medicine, only to be discovered. Most importantly, the other party was a divine beast. After a moment, he thought of Elder Lu's presence and felt a little more at ease. He steeled himself and stood in the middle of the field, waiting silently. Yi Qingyo was very worried, but it wasn't the powerful divine beast in the lake that made him afraid. 3 upper-tier divine beasts had suddenly appeared, and the unknown divine beast in the lake was at the peak of the upper tier. However, the House of Ares had sent many sage experts this time, as well as the experts from Hidden Island, so he wasn't afraid of these 3 divine beasts. He was worried about Yi Qinghan. It had already been half an hour since Yi Qinghan had entered the cave. The battle here was still in a stalemate. These 3 divine beasts had frighteningly strong defenses. He and Yi Baihu couldn't separate from each other to enter the cave to look after Yi Qinghan, so he was very worried. After a moment, his worry turned into shock and then into fear. The expressions of all the saints outside the cave changed drastically at the same time, and they all looked towards the sky in the north in horror. Oomph! An extremely powerful and suffocating aura came from the northern sky. This aura was like a meteor that was rushing toward them. It was followed by a cold snort filled with anger. All the sage experts felt as if their hearts had been hit by a heavy object, and they almost vomited blood. When the three divine beasts heard this cold snort, they howled in unison and attacked even more fiercely. Chapter 318. Swoosh! While they were dealing with the holy beast attacks, they looked to the north. However, they only saw a faint pink light, and then the aura disappeared into thin air outside the cave. Baihu, I'll hold this holy beast. You go get little Han. The fear in Yi Qingyou's eyes increased. His battle aura surged as he roared crazily. A faint kuei emerged behind him, crazily pouncing on the holy beast in the lake. Yi Baihu looked at the crazy Yi Qingyou and knew the situation was serious. That terrifying aura was the aura of a divine beast. Now that the divine beast had entered the cave, everybody inside would be in danger, including Yi Qinghan. Brother Kei, I'm going. Yi Baihu's eyes twinkled like lightning. Why didn't Yi Ruoshui show up? However, he couldn't care that much right now. He stomped his feet and dashed toward the cave. That cold snort that could make people vomit blood had stifled the Saint Realm experts outside the cave. At the same time, all the people inside the cave changed their faces. The Feng family's people were fighting against a small team of the barbarian tribe again. Unexpectedly, that cold snort scared them so much that they shivered. They didn't dare to fight anymore and started to run away. The members of the monster clan were frightened. They didn't dare to run around to find the fragrance Li, heading toward the cave's exit. Although the god-slaying guard was enraged, he didn't dare to look around. Without the god lord, he didn't have the confidence to fight against a god realm expert. Anyway, it wasn't his son who had just died. Of course, Yi Qinghan also heard that cold snort. Although he gave a forced smile, he wasn't afraid. His tense body relaxed. As he was locked, he couldn't run away. Then, he had to fight. He didn't believe that Yi Ruoshui would let him die. He didn't believe that Lord Devour wouldn't care about him. He didn't believe that old Lu at the peak of Heavenly God Realm couldn't deal with a divine beast. He knew that he wasn't fighting alone. He wasn't the seventh son of the Yi family. He wasn't afraid. Buzz. Along with the space fluctuation, he finally saw the owner of that cold snort. At this moment, a pink figure appeared in the sky above the cave. It was an enlarged fragrance Li. It had the same appearance, the same pink triangular hexapod. However, this Li Xiang beast was standing, and it was also wearing a pink robe. Its eyes were exactly the same as a human's, filled with cold arrogance. Despicable human! How dare you! The moment this godly beast appeared in the cave, it could not help but look at the stone platform covered in white feathers in the middle of the cave. It saw that the stone platform was empty. It turned its head, and the coldness in its eyes intensified. When it opened its mouth, it actually had the same female voice as Madame Geo in the dark forest. Hee Senior, don't be angry. I just came out to buy some soy sauce and accidentally stumbled into a treasure trove. I'll leave immediately. I'll leave immediately. Yi Qinghan chuckled, rubbed his hands, and said with some shame. When this godly beast heard Yi Qinghan's words, the coldness in its eyes turned into anger. Its whole body surged violently, and it directly pressed down on Yi Qinghan's body. It said angrily, "Lowly human, you can't go anywhere today. Kneel down." When this wave of aura fell on Yi Qinghan's body, Yi Qinghan suddenly felt as if a divine mountain had collapsed. His body suddenly bent, and he almost fell to the ground. However, at this moment, the Xiaoyao ring suddenly emitted a stream of air and entered his body. This caused the battle chi in his body to suddenly become many times thicker. He gritted his teeth to resist the heavy pressure on his body. He raised his head, and the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. He cursed, Half a day ago, a bastard asked me to kneel down. Now, he has turned into a pile of minced meat. You bastard. You want me to kneel down to you? Don't talk about the door. I don't even have a window. When this godly beast appeared, it kept calling him lowly human. He was already in a bad mood. Now, he actually wanted him to kneel down. Yi Qinghan had always had a bad temper since he was young. He would not leave even if he was chased. As long as you speak politely, everything is fine. You are welcome. Even if you are the god of heaven, I will *CK you first. The godly beast in midair was shocked. It looked at Yi Qinghan in disbelief. This insignificant human, not only did he capture its clansmen, but he also did not kneel in the face of its coercion. Now, he actually dared to call it a bastard? How could this be? This insignificant human is going to defy the heavens? When the godly beast was angry, the temperature in the cave seemed to have risen by dozens of degrees. A dark red flame suddenly appeared outside its pink robe. Its eyes also ignited with raging flames. One of its claws stretched out, and the dark red flame in the claw continued to grow at a speed visible to the naked eye. Obviously, it was ready to make a move. It wanted to burn Yi Qinghan to ashes with the flame in its hand. Wait! Yi Qinghan suddenly shouted at this moment. The godly beast was angry. It withdrew its coercion from its body. It seemed that it was ready to make a move. If he did not shout, and if he really turned into ashes, then it would be too big. He shouted to attract the godly beast's attention. Seeing that the flame in its hand had stopped growing, he slowly said, "If you want that cute civet to die immediately, I advise you not to make a move." Yi Qinghan's words reminded the godly beast. Its eyes flickered a few times, and the flame outside its body slowly disappeared. However, the flame in its hand was still there. It coldly stared at Yi Qinghan for a while and said, "Let it go, and I will leave your corpse intact." **T. Yi Qinghan staggered and almost fell down. But in his heart, he secretly cursed. This bastard is a bastard. What is the difference between an intact corpse and a half-corpse or no corpse? If I really die, why would I care about an intact corpse? I really don't know which bastard gave birth to this bastard. Let me go, and I will leave your corpse intact, okay? After cursing for a while, Yi Qinghan finally couldn't hold back and teased. I say, "Don't you understand the situation? I have a hostage in my hand. No, it's an animal, that's not right. Let me tell you this. I'm afraid you won't understand. I have a civet in my hand. If I let it go, I will die. And if I die, I don't know if my corpse will be intact. So, since I'm going to die anyway, I will let your clansmen die first. After the disaster, I will die. Do you understand what I mean? Looking at your stupid appearance, it's hard to understand." Yi Qinghan's tongue twister clearly made the godly beast in the air dizzy. After pondering for a long time, it suddenly realized and angrily cursed, "Lowly human, you are challenging my limit. You really want to die?" Yi Qinghan rolled his eyes. He was completely convinced by this bastard. After all, you're asking me whether I want to die or not. Who the *CK wants to die? He helplessly sighed and said, "Big sister, can't we be a little more creative in threatening people? It's already been more than 10,000 years since the Fire Dragon calendar. We have to keep up with the times and be innovative. You won't understand even if I tell you this. How about this? Let me analyze it. You're in a bad mood. You want to kill me, but I have a civet in my hand, so you don't dare to kill me. But you won't let me go, right? And I don't want to die, so I can't let go of the civet. So, the final result is that we can only stare at each other in this stalemate and spend a few Fire Dragon festivals here, right?" Yi Qinghan's tongue twister once again turned the godly beast's face green. However, as Yi Qinghan said, it really didn't dare to make a move against Yi Qinghan, because this civet was very important to it. Moreover, it had searched all of Yi Qinghan's places but didn't find the civet. It could feel that the civet was still alive, but it didn't know where, so it hesitated. Chapter 319. Of course, it had checked Yi Qinghan's 2 rings, but it was obvious that its thinking had gone astray. It thought that Yi Qinghan was such a small human being, and it would be considered heaven-defying if he had a space ring at most. The space ring could not store living things, but the Li Xiang beast was still alive. Moreover, Yi Qinghan's increasingly unscrupulous attitude made it even more suspicious, so it did not dare to make a move. "Let it go, and I'll let you go." After thinking for a long time, the mythological beast finally suppressed its anger and said in a low voice. It finally figured it out. Since it wanted to save the Li Xiang beast, it could not kill Yi Qinghan at this moment. Moreover, its subordinates were still fighting outside. It wanted to let Yi Qinghan live for a while longer and then vent its anger on other intruders. Originally, it thought that the Li Xiang beast was staying in the cave, and with the protection of the transmission portal, nothing would happen to it. Therefore, it used its divine sense to sense that there were many warriors in the barbaric mountains, but it did not care. It continued to reminisce with its old friends in the dark forest, but it did not expect that the Li Xiang beast would suddenly disappear from the cave, so it rushed back as fast as it could. Still not good. Yi Qinghan also had a headache. He had encountered a mythological beast, and it seemed that this mythological beast had a close relationship with the Li Xiang beast. It would be a pity to let it go, but if the Li Xiang beast still wanted to kill him, then it would not be worth it. "You are challenging my bottom line?" The mythological beast was so angry that its whole body slightly trembled, and the flames once again appeared encountering such a human. It could not help but burn with lust. How about this? Let me go." Yi Qinghan thought for a while, and very seriously said, "Let me bring the Li Xiang beast back to play for a while. This small beast is very cute, and I like it very much. You, don't be angry. I have one of my biggest strengths, and that is I absolutely keep my word. You can rest assured. You are courting death." The mythological beast finally could not bear it anymore, and its body once again emitted flames, preparing to attack. Wait a little longer. When Yi Qinghan saw this, he immediately waved his hand to stop the mythological beast's impulsive behavior. He nodded seriously and said, "Let me think for a while, just a little while. You rest for a while first. I'll be done right away." After saying that, he closed his eyes and appeared to be in deep thought. However, the godly beast was angered by him. It was as if it was having an epileptic fit. After enduring for a long time, it was finally able to swallow its anger. Her pair of fiery red eyes stared fixedly at Yi Qinghan, like an old woman burning with lust seeing a handsome young man. She couldn't wait to eat him alive. Of course, Yi Qinghan was not deep in thought. He was transmitting his voice to Elder Lu. Old dear, what should we do? This problem is a little difficult. This mongrel beast's strength is not low. I can see that. If it wasn't strong enough, I would have gone up to chop it up. Of course, this was nonsense. The problem was how to do it. Should we release the civet beast? But what if it wants to kill us again after we release it? There are still the children of the Yi family and my 2 old men outside. If something happens, it will be difficult. Release it? No way. You don't know this civet beast, but it molts once every 1,000 years. After 3 molts, it can become a mythological beast. The civet beast that we caught is about to molt for the first time. You don't know that its molted skin is a treasure of heaven and earth. It contains pure energy and the laws of space, wind, and fire. If you refine one piece, you will be able to break through to the Saint Realm. Do you think we can release this civet beast? Damn, why didn't you say so earlier? I won't release it even if you beat me to death. That's it. We can't release it. We don't need to think about it anymore. We can't release it. The problem is how to solve this problem. Simple. You kill this mongrel beast, and we will make soup. You take 40%, and I will take 60%. F***CK, you brat. Can you be a little more serious? I can kill it, but it will cause a huge commotion. Then, my existence will no longer be a secret. You will be in more danger in the future. I don't care. I will fight for the Saint Realm. Old dear, are you at the peak of the heavenly god realm? Why are you so timid? An expert must have a good temperament. I am now using my identity as the young master of the Carefree Pavilion. Of course, this is not an order. I beg you to help me this time. I will always remember your kindness. All right. It's my bad luck to meet someone like you. Human, Have you thought it through? My patience is limited. Don't force me to cut off your flesh piece by piece and make you wish you were dead. The mythological beast in the air became impatient after the conversation between Yi Qinghan and Elder Lu. Yi Qinghan had just finished his discussion with Elder Lu. He was not happy to hear this. I just decided to chop you up, and you dare to be so arrogant? He flew into a rage and pointed at the mythological beast in the air. What are you shouting for? You mongrel beast, don't be so arrogant. I have your No, I have a knife on my back. If you make me angry, I will go crazy. What's going on? The mythological beast in the air was shocked. His mind was in a mess. Why is this person like this? Why did he change so suddenly? Why is he so arrogant now? Is he a god, or am I a god? You are courting death. After a while, the mythological beast finally understood that he was a god. He, a god beast, had been fooled by a mortal. This was intolerable. The mythological beast's aura surged, and the flame in his hand soared. I will ask you one last time. Are you going to let me go or not? I'm sorry, but the elders in my clan said that they wouldn't let him go. Do whatever you want. Elder Lu, come out and chop me. No, I will chop you up. Yi Qinghan winked at the divine beast and waved her left hand in the air. Her right hand pulled out the slaughter god blade that was stabbed into her back. She immediately used form displacement transposition and quickly retreated. This was going to be a battlefield. If she continued to stand here, she would just be waiting to be blown to death. As Yi Qinghan waved his hand, an old man in black appeared in the air. The old man had a face like a goat's. He had small eyes and a thin beard. His expression was cold and solemn, and he held a black iron rod in his hand. His black robes fluttered even though there was no wind. He looked extremely arrogant and had the demeanor of an expert. I was wondering who had broken my teleportation portal's mechanism. So it was you, the despicable old goat. Today, both of you will die. The mythological beast finally understood why Yi Qinghan had always been so arrogant. He also understood why the teleportation portal's mechanism in the cave had been broken and why the civet fragrance beast had been captured. From the looks of it, the two of them were definitely not going to let the civet fragrance beast go. After understanding this, the anger that had been suppressed for a long time finally exploded. Elder Lu's expression was still cold and solemn. When he heard the impolite words of the divine beast, he slowly raised his head and the aura of his body rose with the wind. Like an unsheathed sword, it rose up violently and solidified the air in the cave. He waved his iron rod at a 45-degree angle and said arrogantly to the mythological beast in the air, "Little bastard, you dare to be so arrogant in front of me with your puny skills? Tell me, do you want an intact corpse or a half-corpse?" Chapter 320. The aura of the peak heavenly god realm Elder Lu erupted like the blazing sun in June after the rain. It was so dazzling that no one dared to look at it directly. The arrogance and anger in the divine beast's eyes disappeared, replaced by fear and doubt. It had only felt this aura several thousand years ago in the dark forest, when the bald man in the divine city fought with Lord Devour. At that time, it had not entered the god grade, so it had a deep memory of this terrifying aura. The peak heavenly god realm. At this moment, it finally felt regret and fear. It had only been 1,000 years since it entered the god grade. Although it was a divine beast, it had the innate abilities of a divine beast. However, the civet beast was a divine beast with strong defense but weak attack power. How could it not feel disappointed when it had to fight with a peak heavenly god? You are the guardian of the god-slaying mountain. So the real divine sword was taken by a human like you. No wonder Lord told me to stop looking for it. The divine beast finally remembered the old voice that it had heard when the little divine pavilion of the god-slaying mountain had disappeared. And when it had talked to Lord Geo in the dark forest, Lord Geo had told it to stop looking for the divine sword. Little bastard, you talk a lot of nonsense. Are you going to fight or not? If not, I will leave with my men. Elder Lu said impatiently, not caring what the divine beast was thinking. Don't Don't think that I will be afraid of you, just because you are a peak heavenly god. If you provoke me, I will destroy my beast core to kill you all." Although the divine beast was frightened, it did not show it on its face. It continued to resist, but its tone was not as arrogant as before. "Since you have shown up, I will give you face. Let go of my son, and I will give you a piece of spirit skin. Didn't you capture my son for the spirit skin that is about to molt? Oh, are you admitting defeat?" The divine beast's reaction was not beyond Elder Lu's expectation, but it was beyond the expectations of Yi Qinghan, who was standing in the corner behind Elder Lu. The divine beast that was so arrogant just now was frightened by Elder Lu's words, admitting defeat. At the same time, he understood why this divine beast cared so much about the civet beast. It was her son. A trace of shame flashed in his heart. He was about to send a message to Elder Lu to discuss this matter. After all, he had captured her son. Unexpectedly, Elder Lu spoke again. "Do you think this old man is an idiot? That raccoon beast can shed 3 spirit skins, and you give me 1? 3. There was no room for discussion. Otherwise, this old man will chop you up as well and take the spirit skin all the same." Elder Lu's attitude was very unyielding. After all, experts had their own pride. Otherwise, he would not have made a move. Once he made his move, he would not rest until he saw blood or treasures. Of course, if he could avoid fighting, he definitely wouldn't. After all, if he were to fight, all the restrictions in this cave would definitely be broken. At that time, his existence would definitely be known by the entire continent. He didn't really care about it, but he was afraid that he would implicate Yi Qinghan. "You, 2 pieces. If you have more, I'll start a war." The mythological beast was clearly enraged, and its entire body was trembling. $3 if you want to fight. I'll fight." Elder Lu snorted coldly. He held his metal rod and did not back down. Elder Lu's incomparably insolent attitude didn't provoke the mythological beast's anger. The mythological beast was silent for a moment before saying coldly, "Humph, you've gone too far. Let me consider it for a moment." What was going on? Yi Qinghan was even more confused. Was this still a mythological beast? Why didn't it have the temper of a mythological beast? Bullying the weak and fearing the strong? However, a trace of a smile flashed in Elder Lu's eyes. He transmitted a message to him and answered his doubts. This mythological beast was stalling for time and waiting for strong reinforcements. Stalling for time? Waiting for strong reinforcements? When Yi Qinghan heard this, he started to worry. However, he saw that Elder Lu was still standing there coldly and didn't seem worried at all. He could only continue to stand there uneasily and quietly watch the situation unfold. "I've thought about it. My answer is that neither of you can escape today. Both of you, prepare to die." After a moment, the mythological beast finally raised its head again. There was no longer any fear in its eyes. Instead, it became incomparably arrogant and unscrupulous. Its entire body was engulfed in flames, and 4 balls of dark red flames appeared in the center of its 4 claws. Its aura was boundless, and it seemed like it was ready to attack. "Strong reinforcements have arrived?" Yi Qinghan tensed up. For this mythological beast to be so unscrupulous in front of a peak heaven god like Elder Lu, it seemed like these strong reinforcements were extremely powerful. Could they have invited a peak heaven god or a god general? After a moment, the space in the cave fluctuated, and a figure appeared out of thin air. Yi Qinghan glanced over and immediately understood why Elder Lu was so calm. The corners of his mouth curled into a smile. "Madame Jiu, these 2 people capture my son and want to kill me. Help me kill them quickly." The mythological beast was overjoyed when it saw the newcomer. At the same time, a trace of arrogance and anger appeared in its eyes. That's right. It was the housekeeper of the Dark Castle, the 9-tailed fox Madame Jiu, a peak heaven god divine beast. When the mythological beast Li Xiang saw Elder Lu, it knew that something was amiss. It immediately transmitted a message to Madame Jiu, requesting for her help. It didn't expect Madame Jiu to agree immediately. It was only then that it became confident. After all, Madame Jiu was not only a peak heaven god divine beast that had become a god thousands of years ago, but more importantly, she had Lord Devour behind her, the king of the flame dragon continent, the invincible Lord Devour. Madame Jiu was wearing a black swallowtail coat today. She looked as elegant as ever, like a charming gentleman. She appeared out of thin air in the cave. She didn't release her aura, nor did she pay any attention to the enraged mythological beast Li Xiang. Instead, she stretched out two furry paws and cupped her fists at Elder Lu. "Greetings, Elder Lu." At the same time, she once again looked at Yi Qinghan, who was behind Elder Lu. Her furry face revealed a smile that was identical to a human's, and she said in a very friendly manner, "Little Han, long time no see." This time, Elder Lu didn't act tough. He put away his metal rod and smiled at Madame Jiu. He didn't say anything and just stood there with his hands clasped behind his back. Yi Qinghan's face was full of smiles as he sheathed the slaughter god's saber on his back. He took light steps forward and stood beside Elder Lu. He cupped his hands and bowed to Lord Jiu. Similarly, he said in a friendly manner, "Lord Jiu, long time no see. Madame Jiu, they captured my son and treated me like this. You must help me. I want to kill them." The mythological beast Li Xiang was anxious. Why was Madame Jiu talking to this human the moment she arrived? She hurriedly emphasized the crimes of these two people. She thought that she and Madame Jiu belonged to the same bloodline of mythological beasts. Moreover, they had known each other for a long time and had a good relationship. Madame Jiu would definitely help her. As long as Madame Jiu helped her, these two people would definitely die. "Little San, forget it. This young man, you can't afford to offend him." When Madame Jiu heard the mythological beast's angry roar, she looked over helplessly and sent a voice transmission to the mythological beast. "Can't afford to offend him? Of course I can't. He's a peak heaven god, so I can't afford to offend him. Madame Jiu is so powerful that you can't." The mythological beast became even more anxious when she heard Madame Jiu's words. She hurriedly sent a voice transmission to Madame Jiu. However, halfway through her words, she suddenly realized something and sent a voice transmission in astonishment. "What? I can't afford to offend this young man?" Chapter 321. Why? I can't afford to offend this youngster? Is he also a hidden peak heaven god? Divine Beast Little 3 asked again, feeling even more incredulous. Miss Jiu chuckled, glanced at Yi Qinghan's thin body, and transmitted her voice again. "No, this youngster isn't awesome, but his battle beast is awesome. He is the master of Lord Xiaohe that I've told you about. If you still want to kill him, then go ahead and kill him." "Lord Xiaohe's master? Miss Jiu, you must be joking. This, even if you gave me 100 guts, I wouldn't dare to touch him." Hearing this, Little San's expression abruptly became incomparably bashful and unsightly. She was like a resentful wife who didn't dare vent her anger, feeling extremely wronged. What a joke! Lord Xiaohe's master, the master of the soul-devouring beast, she wouldn't dare to touch him even if she had 10,000 guts. When she was still a saint beast, she saw with her own eyes a few powerful divine beasts in the dark forest challenge Lord Devour. And in the end, they were smashed into meat paste by Lord Devour. Now she wanted to kill Lord Devour's nephew? However, when she thought of her son, the civet fragrance beast, she couldn't help but become even more embarrassed, looking at Miss Jiu with an even more resentful and wronged expression. Miss Jiu looked at the civet fragrance beast and smiled. She turned her head, looked at Yi Qinghan, and said softly, "Little Han, I want to discuss something with you." "Miss Jiu, please speak." Yi Qinghan had seen Miss Jiu and the civet fragrance beast exchanging flirtatious glances just now. He was still wondering if these two had some kind of adulterous relationship. Could it be a lesbian relationship? Noticing that Miss Jiu suddenly looked at him, he hurriedly said with an awkward smile, "Give me some face and release the civet fragrance beast. How about I ask Little 3 to give you 2 pieces of spirit skin? She also wants to give one to her son when he tries to break through to the god level." Miss Jiu, of course, didn't know about Yi Qinghan's dirty thoughts at the moment and stated her intention. She also had some understanding of Yi Qinghan. Since this brat had already caught the Li Xiang beast, he definitely wouldn't be willing to give it up for nothing. She might as well act as a peacemaker. What she did was like pushing the boat with the current to give Yi Qinghan and Xiaohe a favor. Of course, she didn't violate Lord Devour's rules. After all, the civet fragrance beast was caught by Yi Qinghan. If he hadn't come, Yi Qinghan would have been able to capture the civet fragrance beast. Little San? Hearing this awesome name, Yi Qinghan looked at the civet divine beast thoughtfully. He thought in his heart, no wonder this divine beast is so stupid and has such a bad temper. It turns out to be a mistress. He chuckled and nodded without much hesitation. Since Lord Jiao has spoken, how could Yi Qinghan dare to disobey? That's good. Little San. Lord Jiao was satisfied with Yi Qinghan's attitude toward her. She smiled elegantly, then turned to look at the civet divine beast. The civet fragrance divine beast forced a smile, knowing that it was doomed. In terms of competence, it couldn't compete with the other's bodyguard. In terms of influence, it was even more shameful. Its backer was the butler of the other's backer. Light flashed on its body, and two translucent, palm-sized, pinkish skins appeared in its hands. With a wave of his hand, he threw it towards Yi Qinghan. Yi Qinghan was thrilled. He caught them and found that these two spirit skins were not only radiant, but also had a thick aroma that was even better than the civet fragrance beasts. At first glance, he knew that they weren't ordinary items. He looked at old Lu, who nodded affirmatively. Then, he put the two spirit skins into his unfettered ring. At the same time, he touched the unfettered ring, and a civet fragrance beast as big as 2 palms appeared in the air. Squeak, squeak. When the civet fragrance beast appeared, it looked around in fear. Finally, it discovered the civet fragrance divine beast in midair. With a so sound, it jumped into her arms and hit its head. It was obviously frightened. The matter is settled. I should take my leave. Old Lu, little Han, we shall meet again. Lord Jiao smiled slightly. Then, she gracefully bowed and disappeared from the cave. Now that the matter has been resolved, I should take my leave. Xiao-san, I'll come visit you again when I have time in the future. Yi Qinghan was also in a good mood. He gracefully mimicked Lord Jiao and bowed. Humph! What's the saying of you humans? That's right, never to see each other again. In the future, never to see each other again. The civet fragrance divine beast, Little San, seemed to hate Yi Qinghan very much. However, she didn't dare to offend him, so she could only turn her body away and say angrily, do whatever you want. Goodbye. Yi Qinghan didn't waste any more time. He immediately summoned old Lu and ran away. He had obtained the treasure, and old Lu hadn't been exposed. The civet fragrance divine beast probably wouldn't dare to spread the news even if she had 10 times the courage. She probably wouldn't say such a shameful thing either. He was in a good mood. However, when he ran to the entrance of the destroyed transportation array, he suddenly remembered something. He turned around and said, Little San, tell your divine beast to stop. Don't hurt my people. Don't touch any of the people from the House of Ares. Of course, you can kill anyone from the demon race, barbarian race, or the people of the immortal city. Don't stand on ceremony. Goodbye. Yi Baihu was very anxious. He kept running around the cave, looking for Yi Qinghan's figure. However, the cave was so big. Moreover, there were countless passages in the cave. It was like a maze. He was getting dizzy from running around. Along the way, he met many cultivators. There were demon race and barbarian race. He also saw the god slaying guards' garlic noses. He saw Fengzi, Hua, Long Sinan, and the Emperor Realm experts from the Yi family. However, he didn't see Yi Qinghan. Everyone was running out. They were probably far away from the core region of the barbaric mountain range. However, he could only take a deep breath and lead the Yi family's cultivators through the passages. He hoped to see Yi Qinghan's figure. Grand Elder, we've searched so many places, but we still can't find him. Where did the young clan leader go? What should we do? One of the Emperor Realm experts finally couldn't take it anymore and shouted anxiously. They had been running through the passages for half an hour. Other than the center of the cave, which they didn't dare to search, They had almost searched everywhere else. The center of the cave had been releasing a powerful aura for the past half an hour. They didn't dare to go near it, even if they had 10 times the courage. Let's give it our all. You guys go out first. I'll go to the center to take a look. Yi Baihu laughed bitterly. He didn't know about the Emperor Realm experts, but he could feel the terrifying aura in the center. There was more than one aura. Suddenly, 2 auras appeared behind him. Now there were 3 auras. However, he had almost searched everywhere. He had no choice but to grit his teeth and prepare to go to the center to take a look. This, Grand Elder, you can't go. That place is too terrifying. The martial artists of the clan immediately panicked. The young patriarch had disappeared, and they guessed that Yi Qinghan had most likely met with misfortune. If the Supreme Elder were to go now, what if something unexpected happened? How were they going to explain it to him? Chapter 322. I've made up my mind. This is an order. Yi Baihu's face was filled with determination. The young master of the Yi family had disappeared in their hands. He was too ashamed to go back and see Tianlong and Yi Ruoshui. He might as well go back. However, just as he was about to rush towards the center, he suddenly felt a change that made him stop in his tracks. He realized that the terrifying aura in the center had turned from 3 to 2, and then to 1. Then, it disappeared completely. Everyone who stepped into the wild mountain range, barbarians and demons, you will all die today. Then, an incomparably angry roar echoed through the entire wild mountain range. Yi Baihu felt the terrifying aura and dashed towards the outside of the wild mountain range. He was obviously chasing after the barbarians and demons. Yi Baihu and the Yi clan's Emperor Realm experts were puzzled as to why the divine beast was pursuing the barbarian race and the monster race instead of killing them. Yi Baihu suddenly felt that someone was quickly approaching. He immediately tensed up and stood guard. However, a moment later, he saw a handsome young man carrying a long black saber appear from the corner in front of him. He was overjoyed and cried out involuntarily, "Little Han?" "Young master." The Yi family's emperors were also overjoyed. They shouted and pounced towards Yi Qinghan. Hello everyone. What a coincidence." Yi Qinghan scratched his head. He looked at the emotional Yi Baihu and the Yi family's emperors who had tears in their eyes. He was very touched and smiled shamefully. "Kid, where did you go just now? Don't you know how hard it was for us to find you? Why are you crying?" "Useless." Yi Baihu rushed over and carefully looked at Yi Qinghan. He realized that he was fine. He looked at the Yi family's emperors who had tears in their eyes and quickly scolded them. However, as he spoke, his voice began to choke up, and he almost burst into tears. They couldn't be blamed. Just now, under that powerful aura, they were worried and afraid. They searched for half an hour. Her heart had already turned cold. She thought that Yi Qinghan had already. Now that she suddenly saw Yi Qinghan appear, she was naturally excited. They had taken a liking to this well-behaved, sensible, mild-tempered, but stubborn youth from the bottom of his heart. "Yes, it's Qinghan's fault. I'm sorry for making you worry." Yi Qinghan was moved to tears when he saw everyone's true feelings. He wanted to explain, but he couldn't say anything. "All right, there's no need to say more. It's good that you're back. Hurry up and get out. Your grandpa Green Ox must be anxious to death. Sigh. I wonder what's going on outside." Yi Baihu didn't wait for Yi Qinghan to finish speaking. He waved his hand and pulled Yi Qinghan out. Everyone followed him out. After wandering around for half a day, they were very clear about the few passages that didn't have transportation formations. After walking for a while, Yi Baihu saw a person suddenly rush out from a corner. He was dressed in rags, and his eyes were bulging. Who else could it be but Yi Qingyo? "Baihu, little Han, you're fine. That's great." Yi Qingyo's face was full of anxiety. There were a few wounds on his body, and he looked very miserable. He was overjoyed when he saw Yi Baihu and Yi Qinghan. He quickly rushed over and carefully looked at everyone. Seeing that everyone was fine, he was in a good mood, and his face was full of joy. "Grandpa Green Ox, your injuries?" Yi Qinghan was moved again. He didn't call Yi Qingwu Grand Supreme Elder and directly called him Grandpa. In any case, he was going to marry Yi Qingwu soon. He asked anxiously when he saw that Yi Qingyo was covered in blood. It's just a minor injury. It's good that you're fine. Let's go. Don't say so much. We'll talk after we leave the barbaric mountains. Yi Qinghan waved his hand, unconcerned, remembering that they were still in a dangerous place and afraid that the divine beast would return. He quickly became serious and called everyone out. Yi Qinghan actually wanted to say that it was fine. They could walk slowly, and it would be fine even if they stayed here for a month or so. However, after thinking about it, he realized that it was difficult to explain these things to them. Moreover, Elder Liu didn't want to expose himself, so he could only follow everyone and rush out. The group did not speak and rushed out of the cave. However, they didn't see the three divine beasts, nor did they see anyone else from the House of Ares. Yi Qinghan didn't ask too much. They didn't dare to fly. Battle chi surged under their feet as they rushed towards Barbarian City. Along the way, they encountered many magical beasts of the 7th and 8th level. However, Yi Qingyo and Yi Baihu were not in the mood to fight, so they avoided them and ran. 2 hours later, Barbarian City came into sight. Yi Baihu and Yi Qingyo looked at each other and heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, an incomparably powerful aura came from afar in the barbaric mountains. It was the aura of that divine beast, as well as its enraged voice. The core region of the barbaric mountains is 100 miles away. No martial artist is allowed to enter. Otherwise, they will be killed without mercy. Yi Baihu and Yi Qingyo secretly rejoiced. Yi Qinghan, on the other hand, was secretly laughing. It seemed that Little San was quite angry today. He wondered if the brute tribe and the demon tribe would all be smashed into minced meat under her wrath. When they reached the entrance of Barbarian City, they saw countless people standing there, looking in their direction. Seeing that the martial artists from the Yi family had come out safely, this group of people all relaxed. It seemed that they had been waiting for them. Nya White Tiger, I knew that you guys were tough. I'm glad that you guys came back. Let's have a few drinks later. Of course, Sky Dragon, Green Ox, and White Tiger were known as the three divine beasts of the Yi family. How could they die so easily? Let's go into the city and have a drink. This time we've all survived. We should celebrate. The saints from the House of Ares and Hidden Island greeted them first and chatted with Yi Qingyo and Yi Baihu. Meanwhile, Fengzi, Long Sainan, and the others surrounded Yi Qinghan and started asking questions. Young Master Han, you scared me to death. When the divine beast came, I found out that your family was looking for you. I thought, well, let's not talk about this. It's good that everyone is safe. Fengzi recalled what had happened a few hours ago and still felt a lingering fear. Yes, young Master Han, where did you go just now? The divine beast came, and you didn't know how to run away? Are you stupid? Hua Hua was also scared and said worriedly, Young Master Han, I'm very happy that you can come back. Long Sainan had been watching Yi Qinghan silently ever since he appeared. She finally could not help but speak her mind. I accidentally got lost just now. I'm tired from walking, so I slept for a while. It's fine. Let's go in and have a drink. Yi Qinghan spread his hands and said casually, Well, don't be so nervous. Isn't it just a mongrel beast? Sure. As soon as Yi Qinghan said this, 3 hands quickly reached out and covered Yi Qinghan's mouth. Fengzi and the others were shocked and kept sneaking glances at the barbaric mountains. It was as if they were afraid that the divine beast in the mountains would hear them and teleport out to slap them into meat paste. Young Master Han, how dare you say that? Young Master Han, don't drag us down if you want to go against the heavens. Young Master Han, you can't say that again. Yi Qinghan looked at the 3 nervous and serious faces in front of him and blinked helplessly, indicating that he understood. They heaved a sigh of relief and released their hands. Sighing, Yi Qinghan rolled his eyes. If he were to tell them the truth, no one would believe him. If he were to tell them that he had Ked, the mythological beast, in front of him, wouldn't that scare them to death? Life was really as lonely as snow. Chapter 323. Behind the mountain of the Yi family, by a small lake. Forefather, will Azure Bowl, White Tiger, and Lil Han be all right? The divine beast Li Xiang hurried back to the barbaric mountains from the dark forest. Since it was in a hurry, it didn't hide its aura and flew directly over Tsang City. Ordinary experts might not have noticed it, but Yi Tianlong could easily sense it. Sensing that it was flying to the barbaric mountains, Yi Tianlong was a little worried. He hurried to send a message to Yi Ruoshui, asking about the situation and reminding her. It's okay. Yi Ruoshui's two white legs shook as she shook her head. Looking at the forest in the north, she smiled and said, Lord Jiao has left. I'm right. Lord Devour said that he wouldn't care about Little Han's life or death, but I'm sure he's worried. Moreover, if Little Han dies, she will have to pay a big price to separate Xiaohe. The divine beast in the barbaric mountains belongs to the dark forest. That's why I'm not worried and let Little Han go to the barbaric mountains to look for treasures. It's not easy to become a god in 50 years. With such a treasure, we must fight for it. Oh, I'm relieved. Speaking of becoming a god, Yi Tianlong blushed and felt a little ashamed. He had just comprehended the fourth occult of the law of earth, and becoming a god was still a long way away. Meanwhile, his grandchildren were improving at the speed of a rocket. Yi Qingyu was also comprehending the second occult, and she was about to break through to the Saint Realm to catch up with him. Although he was happy, he was also a little ashamed. Sky Dragon, you have to correct your attitude. If you still have this attitude, you will never become a god in this life. Yi Ruoshui saw through Yi Tianlong's mind and reminded him. A warrior's cultivation is to go against the heaven and change his destiny. Since you're going against the heavens, then you must have a heart of invincibility. And who else but you can be the strongest? The path of cultivation was filled with difficulties and obstacles, and it was filled with countless obstacles. Without the heart of an expert, one would never be able to attain great accomplishments if one was timid and indecisive all the way. Don't think that just because you're a heavenly god, let me tell you, this world is vast and boundless, and there's an even bigger and more magnificent stage. And the god realm is only the minimum requirement to step onto this stage. If you want to stand on this stage, dance a magnificent song, become an expert at the pinnacle, and control your own destiny, then you'll have to continue working hard and advance bravely. Yi Ruoshui's words caused Yi Tianlong to feel extremely ashamed. At the same time, his fighting spirit was roused. The divine world, the immortal realm, was the true, magnificent battlefield for pinnacle martial artists. Those who had not reached the immortal realm did not even have the right to enter the battlefield to spectate. After resting in Barbarian City for a night, Yi Qingyu and Yi Baihu bid farewell to everyone and brought Yi Qinghan alone to Tsang City. The rest of the families and forces also hurried back to their own clans. Of course, they no longer dared to take a step into the savage mountains, let alone enter the mountains to search for the divine sword and capture the civet fragrance beast. This treasure hunting trip was too exciting. Not only did they not find any treasure, but they also provoked 3 sacred beasts and a divine beast. How could they still search for the treasure? From then on, the savage mountains became the 4th most dangerous place in the continent. With a divine beast guarding it, the name of the most dangerous place could be considered true. While flying in the air, Yi Qinghan did not experience the thrill of flying, nor was he happy that he had obtained the most valuable treasure from the civet fragrance beast, which everyone in the continent wanted. Instead, he was somewhat absent-minded and depressed. Yi Qingyu and Yi Baihu thought that Yi Qinghan was frightened, so they comforted him a few times and ignored him. The reason why Yi Qinghan was in a bad mood was because something had happened to Dark Moon in the Carefree Pavilion. Dark Moon's soul seed had been stimulated by Tu Qianjun, and her body was temporarily out of control. At that time, Elder Lu had said that she would naturally wake up after some time. It's just that the Dark Moon is still unconscious until now. Yi Qinghan is very worried. Although in the cave, the Dark Moon did not hesitate to stab him with a knife. At that time, Yi Qinghan was heartbroken, and his heart ached. However, he had found out that Dark Moon had not betrayed him. Instead, she had been controlled by someone else. His heart did not hurt as much anymore. Instead, he felt that he had wronged Dark Moon, and at the same time, he felt a deep pity for her. He had always believed that if a woman was unhappy, it was definitely not the woman's fault. It was the man who was not good enough and incapable. He believed that a man should not easily take off a woman's clothes. If he could not give her happiness, then he should put them on for her. Of course, if he took off her clothes, he would have to use his life to give her happiness. On the tranquil lake island, he did not accept Yu Qingqing's love. However, when his strength soared and he felt that he was capable, he unhesitatingly embraced Yu Qingqing at Duan Ren Peak. At the Yi family manor in the Divine City, he accidentally got into Yi Qingwu's bed when he was drunk. No, it was Yi Qingwu who got into his bed. Therefore, he had to be responsible for Yi Qingwu for the rest of his life. Dark Moon was his first woman. She was his first woman when he was still the worthless seventh son of the Yi family. Therefore, he had deep feelings for Dark Moon. Although Dark Moon had stabbed him, he still chose to forgive her. As a man, he had to be broad-minded in order to rule the world. If he was always fussing over trivial matters, he would only be able to wander around these trivial matters for the rest of his life. Don't worry, she is fine. She is just unconscious. I will transfer some energy to her from time to time, and that will keep her alive. Of course, if she wants to wake up completely, she will need to kill the owner of the soul seed. Elder Lu checked around the carefree house and transmitted his findings to Yi Qinghan. When Yi Qinghan heard that Dark Moon was safe, he relaxed a little. However, he felt that the burden on his shoulders had increased. He definitely had to save Dark Moon. However, if the owner of the soul seed was a massacre god guard, it would be easy. He could just ask Elder Lu to kill him secretly. However, if it was that high and mighty divine master, it would be difficult to deal with. Would he have to carry the massacre god blade up the sacred mountain one day and fight a divine master at the peak of the divine city? After thinking hard for a while, he decided not to think too much. Since there was no escape, he could only fight. Since he was going to fight, he had to increase his strength first. He secretly made up his mind to cultivate hard and strive to become a god as soon as possible so that he could ascend the sacred mountain and kill the divine master. He believed that as long as he broke through to the god tier, with the combination of his and Xiao Hei's combat skills, he would definitely be able to dominate the Fire Dragon continent and become the second strongest martial artist in the continent. Lord Devour was one of them, so it didn't matter if he gave her the first place. A few days later, Song City was already in sight. The three of them flew into the city and didn't stop at Song City or the Yi family castle. Instead, they flew directly to the mountain behind the Yi family castle. The moment they landed, Yi Qinghan realized that Yi Ruoshui, Yi Tianlong, Yi Qingwu, and Yi Qingyu were already waiting for their return by the lake. Brother, Yi Qingyu didn't care about the people around her and immediately jumped into Yi Qinghan's arms. As for Yi Qingwu, she was embarrassed. She stuck out her pink tongue at Yi Qinghan and made an ambiguous expression. Yi Qinghan patted Yi Qingyu's back gently and comforted Yi Qingyu. After that, he winked at Yi Qingwu, whose body was getting more and more voluptuous. He gave her a look. After going to the barbarian city for half a month, he missed Yi Qingwu's taste very much. Tonight, he would have to dance with her. Chapter 324. He chatted with Yi Ruoshui and Yi Tianlong for a while, and left the rest of the details to Yi Qingyu and the others. Yi Qinghan brought Yi Qingyu and Yi Qingwu down the mountain behind the Yi family and returned to the Cold Heart Pavilion. The 8-door gods stood at the entrance of the Cold Heart Pavilion with their heads held high and their chests puffed out as they scanned the surroundings, guarding against any thief or mouse that wanted to sneak into the Cold Heart Pavilion. Ever since they became the gatekeepers of the Cold Heart Pavilion, they felt that the position of gatekeeper was becoming more and more glorious. If you saw an ordinary elder of the Yi family wanting to enter, do you still need them to inform you? Greetings, young clan leader. Greetings, Miss Wu, miss you. When the 8-door gods saw Yi Qinghan walk over with the 2 girls, their solemn and dignified faces immediately became charming. It was hard to imagine that 8 tall and strong men could smile so charmingly. Do a good job. I have high hopes for you, Yi Qinghan said with a smile as he walked in with his men and patted the shoulder of one of the door gods. Today, he finally had the same feeling as Yi Qingxian. Seeing these faces, even the worst mood would improve a little. No wonder the Yi family always asked them to do reception work. When they entered the main hall, Cui Hua and 11 maids were already waiting there. After greeting them, they all got busy. Some poured tea, some carried fruits, some boiled water. They were very perceptive. Young Master Han had returned after such a long time, and he had even brought Miss Wu back. Tonight, the bed on the second floor would definitely be rattling nonstop. It looked like they were going to have a sleepless night again. They just didn't know if the cucumbers they bought would be enough. Yi Qinghan sat on a chair with Yi Qingyu in his arms. Yi Qingwu had the whole night anyway, so it was better to comfort Yi Qingyu now. He picked up a fruit and handed it to Yi Qingyu. Yi Qingyu peeled the skin obediently and brought it to his mouth bit by bit. While eating, Yi Qinghan caressed Yi Qingyu's back, feeling the creamy skin on her back. He turned his head and chatted with Yi Qingwu. Xiao Wu, is there anything big happening in the castle recently? It's nothing big. A few small things happened. Elder Tian Xing's granddaughter married young Master Liu from Phoenix City. Young Master Niu is not as handsome as you. Also, you know about Yu Wubian, right? Elder Tian Xing's granddaughter recently slapped the young master of Tsang City's Xiao clan, Xiao Yin. The Xiao clan was furious. In the end, it was my Xiao Wu Jie who helped her settle it. The way Yi Qingwu called Yi Qinghan her had changed from Xiao Wu Jie to Xiao Wu. He didn't feel uncomfortable at all. Instead, he felt a little happy. Although she was older than Yi Qinghan by 4 years, her temperament was still that of a little hot pepper, a little tiger sister. Moreover, Yi Qinghan's mature manliness made her feel like she was Yi Qinghan's little woman. She liked to be a little woman. Oh, you Wubian? That little tiger sister who is as upright as you? Ha! Wubian is so mighty. She even dares to slap Xiao Yan's face. Yi Qinghan enjoyed eating the fruit that Yi Qingyu passed to him. Listening to Yi Qingwu's chatter, he felt very warm. This was the taste of home. I'm not a little tiger sister anymore. I've turned over a new leaf. Yi Qingwu rolled her eyes. Her eyes were filled with charm, which made Yi Qinghan's heart burn. Then, she seemed to have thought of something, and her face turned unkind. She said in a deep voice, "There's something else. A few days ago, Yi Qinghuang came back." Yi Qinghuang? When Yi Qinghan heard this, he stopped chewing and his face gradually turned cold. This name had been engraved in his heart for the first 15 years of his life. Beside him, Yi Qingyu was also slightly shocked. She had never cared about anything other than her brother, and this was the first time she had heard of it. Yi Qinghan was stunned for a moment and turned his head to ask, wasn't his cultivation crippled? According to the clan rules, trash can't stay in the Yi family castle. I also found it strange and went to ask around. I didn't expect that after Yi Qinghuang was crippled by you, he actually trained hard in a small city at the border. Now his strength has improved greatly, and he's already reached the first level of the Marquis realm. When the third uncle saw that Yi Qinghuang had suffered outside for so many years, he felt compassion for him. Coupled with his strength, he helped to put in a good word for him to come back. However, the Elder Hall has already explicitly ordered him not to provoke you, so you can rest assured. Yi Qingwu reported the information she had gathered over the past few days. She told everything to Yi Qinghan. Of course, such a big matter should be decided by the man of the family. The first level of the Marquis realm? That's strange, very strange. Yi Qinghan frowned slightly. Although he was arrogant at times, there was one thing that was true. However, there was one thing that was very good. Although he looked down on his enemies in terms of strategy, he never paid attention to any enemy in terms of tactics. As for Yi Qinghuang, he had never treated him as a brother. After a moment of silence, he said cautiously, "Ask Yi 13th and Yi 17th to come to the Chilling Heart Pavilion tomorrow. I want to see what tricks Yi Qinghuang has up his sleeves." Yi 13th and Yi 17th had formed a deep friendship with him during the Residence Battle. 6 years had passed, and the two had broken through to the Emperor realm and been entrusted with important tasks by the family. In fact, Yi Qinghan had secretly met the two of them a long time ago. These two were his trusted subordinates in the Yi family. Thus, he decided to have the two of them secretly watch over Yi Qingguang to prevent anything from happening. Yi Qingwu and Yi Qingyu looked at Yi Qinghan's well-defined face. They were slightly intoxicated by the imposing and domineering aura that he exuded. It's so good to have a man in the family. With a man around, they wouldn't be afraid even if the sky collapsed. No matter what, even if the sky collapsed, there was still a man up there to hold it up. After comforting Yi Qingyu, he danced with Yi Qingwu for a night and watered her 3 fields that had been dry for half a month. In the next few days, Yi Qinghan didn't immerse himself in the land of love. Instead, he entered the chilling heart pavilion to cultivate. There were still 2 months before he went to the Yu family to propose. He planned to use these 2 months to refine the spirit skins. In the cultivation room, Yi Qinghan held 2 pieces of sparkling and translucent spirit skins that emitted a faint glow and a rich fragrance. He examined them carefully. Elder Lu sat cross-legged beside him. His goat-like face looked as if he was asleep. Elder Lu, didn't this civet beast say that its inner core contained the mysteries of the laws? How did it become a spirit skin? Yi Qinghan had heard that Long Hufu had swallowed the civet beast's inner core to increase his cultivation speed by leaps and bounds. He hadn't had the time to ask about it, so he asked curiously now. Nonsense. The inner core is barely considered a good thing. However, after 1,000 years, the civet beast will shed its skin. The spirit skin is 100 times better than the inner core. Elder Lu opened his eyes slightly and shook the few strands of beard on his chin as he spoke disdainfully. 100 times? Why do you say that? Yi Qinghan was astonished and asked in confusion. Can a 10-year-old ginseng and a 10,000-year-old ginseng have the same medicinal effects? The civet beast's inner core may increase the speed of comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth. However, the spirit skin is different. You only need to refine it, and you can easily comprehend the space laws contained within it. However, the spirit skin of the civet beast and its mother contain the same profound mysteries of the laws of heaven and earth. It's just like refining a divine crystal. There's no need to comprehend it. All you need to do is learn it like reading a book. It's easy to comprehend a profound mystery of space without any side effects. Do you think it's the same? Elder Lu chuckled and secretly envied Yi Qinghan's luck. This thing was considered a treasure even in the divine realm. In this ordinary plane, it was definitely a treasure. Huh? Then if I refine it, I can reach the 3rd level of the Emperor realm in a short period of time. Then, after I finish comprehending the profound mystery of space that I comprehended in the Luotian Mountain, won't I be able to break through to the Sage realm? Yi Qinghan was shocked and asked in disbelief. The difference in strength of an Emperor realm was very simple. 1st level of the laws. Great mastery of a profound mystery or comprehension of 2 profound mysteries. 2nd level. Great mastery of 1 profound mystery and comprehension of the 2nd and 3rd level at the same time. Great mastery of 2 profound mysteries at the same time would allow one to break through the Emperor realm and enter the Sage realm. In theory, that's it. This spirit skin can help you achieve great mastery of one of the profound mysteries of space. Of course, when you can enter the Sage realm depends on how fast you can comprehend the profound mystery of space that can predict your enemy's attack. The faster you can enter the Sage realm, the faster you will enter the Sage realm. If you can't comprehend it, you will only be a 3rd level emperor for the rest of your life. Elder Lu nodded and pointed out the path of cultivation for Yi Qinghan. Damn it, what am I waiting for? Elder Lu, hurry up and teach me how to refine the spirit skin. I will cultivate to the 3rd level Emperor realm first. Yi Qinghan didn't care so much. He had to refine and comprehend the existing profound mystery first. Once he comprehended the profound mystery and cultivated his battle aura, he would be a 3rd level Emperor realm expert. Chapter 325. Spirit hides have a special name in the immortal realm. They are called heavenly spirit jades. They are treasures that contain the mysteries of the laws of heaven and earth. These things are very precious. Some are contained in jade stones, some in spirit trees, and some in divine beasts. Of course, the spirit hides you have are of the lowest grade. They are only useful to martial artists below the immortal realm. They only contain the basic mysteries. If they contain the elementary or intermediate mysteries, they would be treasures in the immortal realm. When I followed my master to snatch a high-grade heavenly spirit jade, that scene was unforgettable. When Elder Lu talked about the immortal realm, there was a look of nostalgia and excitement on his face. In his heart, he had come to the Fire Dragon continent to travel far. The immortal realm was his home and his stage. After a while, Elder Lu realized that he had gone too far. He quickly changed the topic and started to explain to Yi Qinghan how to refine the spirit hides. Yi Qinghan listened carefully. After listening, he realized that the spirit hides were easy to refine. However, the speed of comprehending the mysteries contained within depended on one's own comprehension ability. He nodded to show that he understood completely. Then he asked a question that had been bothering him for a long time. Elder Lu, do all the spirit hides contain the same mysteries? If they're not the same, can I refine the other one as well? Won't I be able to comprehend the two mysteries and enter the sage realm? Also, can I comprehend the other two mysteries contained in the spirit hides at the same time? When Elder Lu heard this, his beard stood up in anger. Bullsh asterisk T. How can there be such a good thing in the world? The spirit hides of the Li Xiang beast all contain the same laws. Even if you refine the other one, you will only gain some pure energy. It will be a waste. As for the other two mysteries, you won't be able to comprehend them. If you choose to comprehend the mysteries of space, the other two mysteries will disappear naturally. Stop daydreaming and work hard to comprehend. Working hard to comprehend the profound mysteries is the way of the king. This kind of opportunity can only be encountered by chance. Well, don't get angry. I'm just asking casually, right? I'll refine it right away. The moment Yi Qinghan saw that Elder Lu was infuriated, he didn't dare to ask anymore. He sat down with crossed legs and calmed himself down. Holding a piece of spiritual skin in his hand, he released his battle chi and wrapped it up. Battle chi continuously circulated and permeated the spirit skin. The light emitted by the pink spirit skin became brighter and brighter, and the fragrance it emitted also became more and more fragrant. Gradually, the spirit skin became more and more transparent and finally disappeared from Yi Qinghan's palm. At this moment, three enormous memories and knowledge appeared in Yi Qinghan's empty mind. These three types of knowledge were like three lumps of sponge floating in his sea of consciousness. One was red, one was green, and the last one was colorless. At the same time, Yi Qinghan suddenly felt a very pure and enormous energy emerging in his body, slowly dissolving into the battle chi flow in his meridians. This was the same energy that Xiao He received when he refined the dragon crystal, but it was stronger and purer. Profound mysteries of fire, wind, and space? Yi Qinghan didn't care about the energy in his meridians. Instead, he sensed the three lumps of sponge. The red sponge was like a raging fire. The green one was like a gust of wind, and the colorless one was ethereal and omnipresent. He easily determined the attributes of these three profound mysteries. He glanced at the red and green mysteries with pity. Without any hesitation, Yi Qinghan focused his mind and permeated it into the colorless sponge. Upon contact, the colorless mystery easily integrated into Yi Qinghan's sea of consciousness. In an instant, Yi Qinghan's sea of consciousness received countless pieces of knowledge. These pieces of knowledge were enormous, messy, and complicated. Yi Qinghan's mind was in a mess, and he felt slightly dizzy. Yi Qinghan didn't panic. He had experienced this kind of inheritance of knowledge and memories before. Back then, when Xiao He transmitted the knowledge of the body fusion technique, it was the same situation. However, the amount of knowledge he received this time was greater. Without any distracting thoughts, he patiently organized the knowledge in his mind. This was akin to finding the pages of a messy book and arranging them neatly. Finally, pinning them together with a tack would allow the book to become a complete book. This way, one could start reading from the first page and slowly comprehend the principles within. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Yi Qinghan sat cross-legged in the carefree pavilion for 3 days before he finished organizing the vast amount of knowledge in his mind. He opened his eyes, feeling slightly exhausted. However, his eyes were filled with excitement and fanaticism. The corners of his mouth curled into a joyful smile. It was evident that he was in a good mood. How is it? What kind of profound mystery is this space mystery? Elder Lu asked curiously. Although he hadn't started to comprehend the mystery, Yi Qinghan had a rough idea of the content of this mystery. He hadn't read the book, but he had read the introduction and outline of the book. Naturally, he had some understanding of the content of the book. He smiled faintly and said, I feel that this mystery is very awesome. How should I put it? It is probably able to lock down a space and prevent the enemy in that space from moving. It is equivalent to imprisoning that space. Spatial lock. Spatial lock? How can there be such an awesome mystery in the law of space? Are you sure? Elder Lu blinked in disbelief when he heard this. Yi Qinghan's previous comprehension of the spatial fluctuation mystery had already shocked him. The spatial fluctuation mystery could detect the frequency of an enemy's attacks and allow one to react quickly and evade them. However, this one was even more heaven-defying. It could directly lock down an enemy's space and imprison them. How could others fight? They could only wait for death. Do you think I'm lying to you? However, this mystery is probably only effective against martialists of the same level. Furthermore, if martialists of the same level have a good understanding of the law of space, they won't be able to imprison them. This is somewhat useless. Yi Qinghan sighed regretfully. After all, he had the body fusion technique, which allowed him to instantly kill martialists of the same level. Now that he had this mystery, he felt that it wasn't necessary anymore. Useless my ass, you silly brat. Do you know that you've hit the jackpot? Do you really think that your body fusion technique can instantly kill martialists of the same level? Let me tell you, martialists of the same level are very weak. Very few of them cultivate their souls. If you encounter someone with a strong soul, your body fusion technique will at most cause some trouble for the enemy. They might even be completely unaffected. However, with this spatial shackle, things will be different. If you encounter someone with a strong soul, you can use the law of space. If you encounter someone with a strong law of space, you can use the body fusion technique. This way, you will be practically invincible among martialists of the same level. Lu Shi's beady eyes suddenly widened when he heard this. He rapped Yi Qinghan's head and cursed F***CK. This old man has decided. I will comprehend the law of space for my next law. How is this law of space useless? It is simply a super powerful law. This old man should have thought of it long ago. Space is a supreme law, so it can't be useless. I miscalculated. Chapter 326. Does this mean that this spatial lock is very powerful? Yi Qinghan listened to Elder Lu's words and realized that it made sense. If he met someone with a strong soul, he could use spatial lock. If he met someone with a law of space, he could use body fusion. Coupled with his profound mysteries of space fluctuations, which made him invincible when it came to escaping and evading, he was practically invincible among those of the same level. Good stuff. Good stuff. The more Yi Qinghan thought about it, the more delighted he became. The smile on his face became more and more lustful. Don't get too excited. It's not that I want to pour cold water on you, but a battle is not a competition. What's the use of being invincible among your peers? If someone is a level higher than you, they can kill you easily. Work hard on your cultivation, young man. Diligence is the only way to success. Elder Lu's words immediately extinguished the fire in Yi Qinghan's heart. However, he did not blame Elder Lu for always pouring cold water on him when he was daydreaming. He knew that Elder Lu was very kind to him, telling him not to be arrogant and rash, and to always maintain a heart of improvement. Only then would he be able to advance steadily and eventually reach the peak. Thank you for your reminder, Elder Lu. I understand. I've been here for a few days. I'll go out for a while before coming back to comprehend the esoteric art. Yi Qinghan bowed. Elder Lu was his mentor and helpful friend, and he had taught him many philosophies about life. Elder Lu narrowed his eyes and waved his hand, indicating that he should go. He admired Yi Qinghan very much, especially his temperament. It was no wonder that he was able to achieve so much at such a young age. A person's temperament determined what kind of achievements that person would eventually achieve. If you were a weakling, even if you became a king, you would still be a slave. If you were ambitious, you could still become a king. After leaving the carefree pavilion, Yi Qinghan appeared on the second floor of the chilling heart pavilion. He found that it was morning. He went to Yi Qingyu's room to take a look. Seeing that there was no one there, he went downstairs. When he walked into the hall, he discovered that Yi Qingyu and Yi Qingwu were sitting and drinking morning tea. Yi Qingyu was dressed in white, and her silver hair made her look like a white lotus. Yi Qingwu's whole body was fiery red, like a blooming fire rose. Both of them were pretty and had their own unique styles. As the morning light shone in through the door, Yi Qinghan was dazzled. Such beauties were the most precious treasures that the heavens had bestowed upon him. Even if the House of Aries offered it to him, he would not exchange it. Morning, young Master Han. When Shui Hua saw Yi Qinghan gracefully walk down and saw the faint smile on his face, her heart palpitated. She hurriedly covered it up and saluted in a low voice. Brother! Yi Qingyu was the first to notice Yi Qinghan. She stood up and threw herself into Yi Qinghan's arms. After not seeing Yi Qinghan for a few days, she began to miss the smell on Yi Qinghan's body. Humph! You only know how to cultivate all day. You don't even play with us. I thought you forgot about us. Yi Qingwu rolled her eyes at Yi Qinghan and said angrily. It was obvious that she was somewhat dissatisfied with Yi Qinghan for going into the carefree pavilion to cultivate on his first day back. How could a day of watering be enough to satisfy the spring after a long drought? Xiaowu, don't be angry. It's my fault. Today I will accompany you to have fun. Yi Qinghan looked at the two of them with some shame. Although his career was important, he couldn't ignore his family, right? It was hard to be a man. On one hand, he had to go out and work hard. On the other hand, he had to come back to his father-in-law and work overtime. It seemed that it was very difficult to realize the days when the red flag at home did not fall and the colorful flags fluttered outside. Great, great. What are you waiting for? Let's go out and play. When Yi Qingwu saw this, she quickly turned from anger to joy. Her character had always been lively, and she couldn't calm down. Let's go, Xiaoyu. Yi Qinghan looked at Yi Qingyu with a hint of excitement on his face. He patted her back lightly and was in a good mood. In this world, was there anything more important than making his woman happy? Turning out of the Yi family castle, the three of them strolled on the streets of Tsang City. Looking at the people coming and going, the carriages running back and forth, and feeling the warmth of the rising sun, Yi Qinghan's mood was very cheerful. Tsang City was huge and prosperous. After thousands of years of baptism, Tsang City had become ancient and prosperous. Without a doubt, the Yi family had become the #1 power in Tsang City. After thousands of years, big and small families in Tsang City continued to emerge and disappear from time to time. However, the Yi family castle was always located in the north of Tsang City. Tsang City had 13 main streets and 130 side streets. Of course, at this moment, Yi Qinghan wouldn't bring Yi Qingwu and Yi Qingyu to the 13th main street for a stroll. Once again, they came to Nilan Street, which had the most miscellaneous antiques and rare items. Nilan Street was one of the 130 side streets, but it was the most famous street in Tsang City other than the first street in front of the city lord's residence and the 13th main street where prostitutes gathered. This street was a collection of rare items from the entire Fire Dragon continent. This was the commercial street, and all kinds of strange items could be found here. There was a saying in Tsang City, if you come to Tsang City but don't go to the 13th main street in Yilan Street, it would be a waste of time. Brother, let's go. There's an antique shop over there. Let's go take a look. Yi Qingyu walked on the street like a fairy that had been released from a cage. She walked in and out of here and there. Her happy laughter spread throughout the entire Nilan Street, and the number of passersby turning their heads to look at her increased to 300 to 400%. Qing Han, do you think I look good wearing this? Yi Qingwu stopped in front of a headwear shop, picked up a small demon horn bun, and put it on her head, looking forward to Yi Qinghan's praise. Yes, Xiao Wu looks good wearing anything. I'll buy it. Our family doesn't lack money, Yi Qinghan said with a smile. Looking at the familiar Nilan street, he recalled the time when he and his sister went shopping 6 years ago. However, at that time, they didn't have the strength or the money. His sister wanted to buy something, but he didn't have the money. He couldn't help but feel that things were still the same, but people had changed. He still remembered that 6 years ago, he was sent flying by Shui Wuhan with one palm and humiliated by Yi Qingquang and Yi Rong in public. Then he made up his mind to cultivate the divine blood secret book left by his father. And by chance, he summoned Xiao He and had the opportunity in the future. Now Yi Rong had been killed by him in the Garden of Enchantment, and Shui Wuhan had been killed in the God-slaying Mountains Heaven Road. As for Yi Qingquang, he probably couldn't be arrogant in front of him. Let me go, brother. He was feeling the ups and downs of the past 6 years. Yi Qinghan heard a very familiar shout from 6 years ago. His body quivered, as if he had returned to the moment when his sister was molested by Shui Wuhan 6 years ago. He looked over angrily, but found that his sister was still in front of him, walking briskly. He couldn't help but feel nervous. Let me go, brother. At this moment, that voice rang out once again. Just as Yi Qinghan looked over in astonishment, a youth behind him suddenly dashed forward like a crazed leopard. Chapter 327. Why does this scene feel so familiar? Yi Qinghan rubbed his nose and awkwardly sighed. Back then, he had also charged forward like a crazed leopard. But in the end, let's go. There's a show to watch. Before Yi Qinghan could finish sighing, he was pulled by the excited Yi Qingwu and started running. Yi Qinghan smiled helplessly and walked forward, pulling Yi Qingyu. Let go of my sister, earth-splitting chop. In front of them, a young master wearing embroidered clothes and holding a folding fan was entangled with a young girl's hand. The young man who just ran was filled with anger. Leaping high into the air, Lin Fan used his palm as a saber and used the earth-splitting chop to smash down on the young master. Earth-splitting chop? A descendant of a clan? Yi Qinghan looked at Yi Qingwu in confusion, but Yi Qingwu giggled, indicating that she knew him. However, she didn't explain. Instead, she pulled Yi Qinghan and Yi Qingyu and hid in a corner to watch the show. Swoosh! The young master was still holding the young girl's hand, ignoring the young man who was attacking him in the air. Instead, a strong man in black behind the young master leaped forward with one leg and exchanged a palm strike with the young man in the air. However, it was obvious that he didn't use much battle chi and only sent the young man flying. Xiaoyan, let go of my sister. Do you want to die? The young man flipped and landed on the ground, roaring at the young master with a face full of anger. Yi Wushuang, I'm just chatting with my fiancé. Is it against the law? Are the young masters of the Yi family so awesome? Can't you do anything else other than using your power to oppress people? The young master smiled coldly and looked at the young girl as he spoke to the young man with resentment. Pa! The young lady who was grabbed by Xiao Yin was about 15 or 16 years old. Her appearance was very pretty, but her temper was not small. Unable to struggle free, she actually raised her hand and gave Xiao Yin a resounding slap. She said angrily, Xiao Yin, who is your fiancé? I'm telling you, don't even dream about it. I'd rather die than marry a playboy like you. Wu Bian, you actually slapped me again? Let me tell you, in this life, you belong to me, and in death, you belong to me. This marriage was decided by my grandfather and your grandfather, and it was approved by your elder hall. Don't even think about going back on your word. The young master named Xiao Yin still didn't let go of Yi Wu Bian. His other hand was covering his face. His face was filled with shame and anger. Gritting his teeth, he said, That's right. I was a playboy in the past. I was trash. But don't look down on me. Life is full of ups and downs. Don't bully the young for being poor. This is the boundless night you told me about a few days ago? Yi Qinghan found it funny. He turned his head and said to Yi Qingwu. It seemed that this matter was quite amusing. It's Elder Tian Xing's granddaughter, Yi Wu Bian. That young man is Elder Tian Xing's grandson, Yi Wu Shuang. Back then, Elder Tian Xing and Xiao Yan's grandfather decided on their marriage and reported it to the Elder Hall. In the end, not only was Xiao Yan a trash, he was also a playboy, fooling around on the 13th Street every day. Wu Bian was about to come of age, so of course she wanted to go back on her word. However, this Xiao Yan kept pestering her. Last time she slapped him. In the end, I had to personally take care of it. Yi Qingwu proudly explained to Yi Qinghan. It was obvious that she was very satisfied with her battle results. That Xiao Yan isn't a good person. Yi Qingyu was also watching from the side and said unhappily, let's continue watching. Can the Xiao clan go against the heavens in Song City? Yi Qinghan chuckled and didn't mind. Now that his strength and status were high, he naturally had the mentality of watching a fight of this level. Pa! Another resounding slap. Yi Wu Bian obviously hated Xiao Yan. Once his temper flared up, he didn't care about anything else. He slapped Xiao Yan first and said with disdain, "Don't bully the young for being poor. How is your Xiao clan poor? You are the young master of the Xiao clan. Aren't you living a luxurious life? I don't blame you for your poor aptitude and low cultivation. However, you rely on your identity every day to loiter in brothels and bully the weak. Let me tell you, I, Yi Wu Bian, hate you from the bottom of my heart. Even if I die, I won't marry trash like you." Well said, sister. Don't worry, I will definitely think of a way to help you break off the marriage. The young man, Yi Wu Shuang, looked at Yi Wu Bian with admiration. At the same time, he secretly made up his mind to go to the Elder Hall and kneel for a few days and nights to help his sister break off the marriage. You two siblings are awesome. Let me tell you, Yi Wu Bian, don't even dream about breaking off the marriage. I'm not afraid to tell you that now that my cousin has returned, the glory of the first branch will definitely reappear in the Yi clan. Moreover, I heard that my uncle is about to break through to the Saint Realm and will come out from the back mountain soon. This marriage is already set in stone and can't be changed. Yi Wu Bian, just you wait. After you get married, I will serve you with whips and candles every day. Xiao Yan seemed to be dizzy because of Yi Wu Shuang. He was extremely arrogant and roared hysterically with a ferocious face. Yi Wu Shuang and Yi Wu Bian looked at each other and saw a trace of helplessness and loneliness in each other's eyes. Xiao Yan's aunt was Yi Jian's wife. Although the first branch had declined, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. The Yi family was still very powerful. Now that Yi Qingguang had returned to the Yi family castle, and it was said that Yi Jian was about to come out, the first branch seemed to have the intention to stand up again. Although his grandfather, Yi Tianxing, was also an elder, he had climbed up step by step from a branch disciple. Back then, he was muddle-headed and decided on this marriage. Now he was powerless to change it. Brother, they are so pitiful. Help them. Yi Wu Bian and Yi Wu Shuang's encounter reminded Yi Qingyu of them in the past. She looked at the two lonely people with pity and felt pity for them. I don't need to do anything for such a small matter. Just watch Xiao Wu's performance. Yi Qinghan was both annoyed and amused as he looked at Yi Qingwu, who was about to give it a try. He understood that when the family got bigger, there would be more conflicts of interests and more schemes in the dark. Of course, it was fine if he didn't see it. But now that he saw it, he couldn't just ignore it. He smiled and waved at Yi Qingwu. Xiao Wu, go over and give him a few slaps. Also, tell him that this marriage is over. If he continues to pester us, make his Xiao family disappear from Song City. We will watch Sister Xiao Wu's performance here. Just watch. Sister Xiao Wu is going now. When Yi Qingwu heard this, her eyebrows immediately lit up. This was her favorite thing to do. Now that Yi Qinghan was supporting her from behind, of course she would walk over with her head held high and chest out without any scruples. Let me tell you clearly, I've seen my cousin. My cousin, young Master Kuang, said that this matter cannot be changed. You guys better be more courteous to me now. Otherwise, when you enter our Shao family, Yi Wu Bian, you will be tortured every day as young Master Bin. Xiao Yan became even more arrogant when he saw Yi Wu Bian's and Yi Wu Shuang's desolate expressions. His originally handsome face had become a little distorted. Clearly, Yi Wu Bian's repeated humiliation had dealt a great blow to him. Even his mentality had become a little abnormal. Xiao Yan, you should go back and torture your mother. Yi Qingwu was originally walking forward slowly. But when she heard Xiao Yan's words that were getting more and more outrageous, she finally couldn't help it. Her fiery temper rose, and she cursed. At the same time, her battle chi surged, and she leaped into the air. Her slender snow-white legs slashed toward Xiao Yan's face. Chapter 328. Yi Qingwu's current cultivation had already reached the second level of the Marquis stage, and was about to break through to the third level. This kick came with her surging anger. Of course, it was majestic and extremely savage. Xiao Yan's cultivation was slightly lower and was clearly frightened by this sharp kick. He stood there dumbfounded. However, the black-clothed man behind him was the first to wake up. He smiled bitterly as he looked at Yi Qingwu in midair. He knew that he was no match for Yi Qingwu, but he had to go up. Otherwise, Xiao Yan would definitely be smashed into meat paste by the furious Yi Qingwu's kick. Circulating the battle chi in his body, he squatted down slightly. His fingers intertwined, and his battle chi formed a super strong shield, preparing to take on Yi Qingwu's attack. Bang! The battle chi energy collided with a muffled sound. Soon after, a powerful shock wave erupted. Yi Qingwu did a backflip in midair and landed firmly on the ground. The black-clothed man, on the other hand, spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and flew backward. Finally, he landed heavily on the stone floor and fainted. Cough, cough! Xiao Yan was also hit by the shock wave from the explosion and took a few steps back. Only then did he barely avoid falling. He felt a tightness in his chest, and a mouthful of fresh blood surged up his throat. Forcefully suppressing it, Xiao Yan looked at Yi Qingwu with an ashen face and angrily roared, Yi Qingwu, you are trying to kill me. I'm not done with you today. I'm going to your elder hall to report you. You can prepare to be confined for 3 years. Xiao Wujie. Yi Wubian was not injured under Yi Qingwu's intentional care. He happily looked at Yi Qingwu as tears uncontrollably flowed out of his eyes. Greetings, Miss Wu. Yi Wushuang also had a pleasantly surprised face and hurriedly came over to pay his respects. Yes, you guys stand aside. Watch how I teach this beast a lesson. Yi Qingwu nodded indifferently. Her good mood today had been ruined by Xiao Yan. Today, with Yi Qinghan behind her, she decided to play a little bigger and vent her anger. Sister Qingwu, don't make it too big. Yi Wubian watched Yi Qingwu fiercely walk toward Xiao Yan and involuntarily became a little worried. Although Yi Qingwu was the eldest daughter of her family, it would be hard for her to explain to her family if someone were to die. At the same time, her future would be even more difficult. Yi Qingwu waved her hand. Without even turning her head, she suddenly increased her speed and pounced in front of Xiao Yan in a lightning-like manner. She lifted her hand and sent a sweeping slap across. Pa! When Xiao Yan saw Yi Qingwu coming over, he naturally wanted to hide. However, with Yi Qingwu's strength, how could she dodge the sudden acceleration? After a flash of white light, he felt a huge force sweep across his face. He forcefully suppressed the mouthful of blood and 2 of his front teeth. At the same time, his body fell uncontrollably to the ground. Bang! His head collided with the ground, and another muffled sound rang out. Shaking his dizzy head, Xiao Yan originally wanted to glare angrily at Yi Qingwu and let her feel his anger. He didn't expect to see a snow-white and seductive long thigh. However, just as he was about to take a closer look at this beautiful thigh, he discovered that this thigh had actually been lifted up high and then heavily stomped down on his face. Yi Qingwu, you stinky woman, you're finished. You actually dare to treat me like this. The Xiao clan will not let you off. Xiao Yan was stepped on by Yi Qingwu, but he didn't care about the burning pain on his face. Instead, he felt that he had received the most serious humiliation from his body to his heart. He, the young master of the Shao clan, was stepped on by a woman on the street in front of everyone. His face was completely ruined. Even the Shao clan's face was completely ruined. What qualifications do you have to let me off? What qualifications does your Shao clan have to let me off? Yi Qingwu coldly looked at this trash-like young master. Her face revealed an extremely disgusted expression. She clapped her hands as if slapping Xiao Yin just now had dirted her hands. She didn't want to waste words with this kind of person. She withdrew her foot and coldly said, "Xiao Yin, you better listen carefully. The marriage between you and Wu Bian is cancelled. If you pester Wu Bian again in the future, I will beat you up every time I hear about it. If you make me angry, I will make your Shao clan scram out at Song City." Yi Qingwu withdrew her foot. Xiao Yin hurriedly climbed up and wiped the footprint and blood on his face. Hearing Yi Qingwu's tyrannical announcement, his head was dizzy from anger. Bending his waist, he pointed at Yi Qingwu with a trembling finger and angrily said, "Yi Qingwu, you stinky whore. Who do you think you are? You think you can do whatever you want just because your grandfather is the Grand Elder? You think you can represent the Elder Hall of the Yi clan? You think we can cancel the marriage just because you say so? Do you think you can make our Shao clan disappear from Song City? You are a woman who rides thousands of people. You are finished. Do you know that? You have gone too far. Do you want to die?" This was the first time Yi Qingwu was cursed with such dirty words. Her voice became colder and colder. The killing intent in her eyes suddenly rose as she coldly said. Xiao Yin spat out a mouthful of blood. Today, he had completely lost his face. In the past, he relied on his identity as the young master of the Shao clan and Yi Jin's nephew to be considered a respected young master in Song City. Now that he felt Yi Qingwu's killing intent, he not only didn't cower, but instead roared even more crazily. "What's wrong? I am right. You are a whore. Come, kill me. I want to see if you have the guts, whore." Yi Qingwu couldn't bear it anymore. She was so angry that her whole body trembled. Her battle chi surged. She raised her hand high and was about to slap Xiao Yin to death. "Brother!" "Xiao Wu Jie, she is angry. I am afraid she is going to kill someone. What should we do?" At the corner, Yi Qingyu and Yi Qinghan were originally watching a good show, admiring Yi Qingwu's domineering aura. Unexpectedly, the situation had developed a little too much. Yi Qingyu worriedly looked at Yi Qinghan and said, "So be it. This kind of trash. If it was me, I would have slapped him to death." When Xiao Yin first scolded Yi Qingwu, Yi Qinghan's killing intent was aroused. However, he knew that Yi Qingwu was angry. It was better to let her vent her anger. He would deal with the aftermath for her. Otherwise, if Yi Qingwu didn't vent her anger, she would feel uncomfortable for a period of time. Xiao Wu Jie is going to attack. When Yi Qingyu saw Yi Qingwu raise her hand, her killing intent soared. She hurriedly turned her face away in fear and hugged Yi Qinghan tightly. She couldn't bear to continue watching. Yi Qinghan was used to killing. Naturally, he didn't feel the slightest bit uncomfortable with such a small scene. Just as he was thinking about how to deal with the aftermath, he saw 3 people rushing over from afar. After being stunned for a moment, the corner of his mouth immediately turned cold. He smiled evilly. "It's fine. Someone is here to save the scene. Things are getting more and more interesting." It wasn't that Yi Qingwu had never killed before. In the Residence Battle, she had killed the Demon Clan and the Brute Clan. However, she had never killed anyone from the House of Ares. At this moment, she was burning with anger. In addition, with Yi Qinghan behind her, she had no more worries. She raised her palm and was about to slap down. Bang! However, a person pounced over from behind Xiao Yin in a lightning-like manner. He directly bypassed Xiao Yin and met her with a palm. The strength of their battle chi seemed to be about the same. Neither of them hurt the other. Instead, both of them took a few steps back. Yi Qingwu steadied herself and glared at the person who came. Originally, she thought that it was an expert from the Shao clan. She didn't expect it to be someone from the Yi clan. Moreover, it was someone she didn't like. She coldly snorted and angrily said, "Yi Qinghuang, what do you mean? That's right. The person who came was Yi Qingquang, who had just returned to the Yi clan castle not long ago. After living in a small city for a few years, Yi Qingquang's elegance was still the same. It was just that his expression was much calmer. He pulled Xiao Yin behind him and faced Yi Qingwu's questioning. He faintly said, "Miss Wu, I still want to ask you. Under such a bright day, you actually want to kill someone in public? Even if my cousin is guilty, he is under the jurisdiction of the Tsang City's law department. Miss Wu, it's not your turn to torture him, right?" Chapter 329. Cousin brother, you have to seek justice for me. This woman slapped me, stepped on my face, and now she wants to kill me. She even said that she represents the Elder Hall to dissolve the marriage between me and Wu Bian. She also said that she wants the Shao clan to get out of Tsang City. It doesn't matter if I lose my face, but the Shao clan and the first branch cannot lose their face. Cousin brother, you have to ruthlessly punish this bitch. Xiao Yin was originally able to endure under the cover of Yi Qingwu's murderous aura. However, when Yi Qingwu slapped him, he became extremely terrified. At this moment, he was suddenly saved by someone. Moreover, it was his greatest support, the first young master of the Yi clan, Yi Qingquang. Of course, he was extremely happy. He hurriedly cried and complained with snot and tears. "Pa!" What responded to him was Yi Qingquang's increasingly cold face and a heavy slap. When Yi Qingquang heard Xiao Yan's words, his originally gloomy mood became even more furious. He shouted in a deep voice, "Shut up! Haven't you lost enough face?" Swoosh! Another two figures quickly rushed over from behind. They were the second young master of the Yi clan, Yi Qingxian, and an emperor from the first branch. Seeing that the situation had become so tense, Yi Qingxian did not dare to say anything more. He pulled Xiao Yin to the side. "Miss Wu, shouldn't you give me an explanation?" Yi Qingquang helplessly sighed. This matter concerned the reputation of the Shao clan and the first branch. He had to step forward. Moreover, his strength had soared, and he had returned to the Yi clan castle. A few days ago, he went to the back mountain to see Yi Jian and discovered that Yi Jian was about to break through to the Saint Realm. Coincidentally, he also wanted to use this matter to restore the reputation of the first branch. He wanted to let the people of Tsang City see that although the first branch had declined, they were not someone that everyone could trample on. "Yi Qingquang, this has nothing to do with you. Are you going to stand up for him?" Yi Qingwu hated Yi Qingquang to begin with. Back in the Warbeast Academy, she had only helped Yi Qinghan suppress Yi Qingquang once. Now that she heard Yi Qingquang's unfriendly tone, of course she didn't have a good expression. She said angrily, "Umph. Anyone can kill trash like Xiao Yin. If you step forward today, I will let him off. If Sister Boundless marries this kind of person, her life will be ruined. So, let's call off this engagement today. In the future, if he doesn't provoke me or Boundless World, I'll spare his worthless life. Anyone can be killed? Forget about the marriage just like that?" "Ha!" Yi Qingquang didn't get angry after hearing Yi Qingwu's scolding. Instead, he laughed wildly and said coldly, "Yi Qingwu, who do you think you are? Do you think you can kill him just because you say so? Do you think that Song City's Ministry of Justice is just a decoration? Do you think the clan torture hall exists in name only? How arrogant! Spare his worthless life? Do you think you're a god-level expert? That you can ignore some laws? Forget about the marriage just like that? Since when can you, Yi Qingwu, represent the clan Elder Hall? Today, I'm going to fight with you. Even if we go to the Torture Hall or the Elder Hall, I will still dare to question your grandfather face to face. Who gave you the courage to treat human lives as worthless? Treat the laws of Tsang City as worthless? Treat the rules of the clan as nothing? Are you going to rely on your grandfather's prestige to cover the sky with one hand in the Yi family? Or is your grandfather preparing to betray the Yi family and establish his own family? Why don't you kill me as well? It's just the right time to silence me. Do it. Yi Qingquang had been exiled from a small city by the border for 6 years, but his mind had become extremely mature. After thinking for a while, He caught the mistake in Yi Qingwu's words and magnified it infinitely. His questioning was reasonable and righteous, directly raising a small matter to the level of Yi Qingyu preparing to betray the Yi family. Yi Qingwu obviously didn't expect that Yi Qinghuang would be able to use her words in a moment of anger against her and even implicate her grandfather. She wanted to refute, but didn't know how. She was so angry that her whole body trembled and tears uncontrollably fell from her eyes. She looked very helpless. "Let's go. Qing Xian, take Xiao Yin with you. Today, we'll go to the Elder Hall to beat the drum and complain about our grievances. I'd like to ask the elders, Yi Qingwu, whose power is she relying on to be so bold and reckless? Is this Tsang City still the Yi family's city?" Yi Qinghuang was unforgiving and wanted to slowly break down Yi Qingwu, forcing her to lower her head and apologize. Clap, clap, clap. At this time, 3 loud claps sounded out from behind Yi Qingwu, dispelling the tense atmosphere. At the same time, a cold voice caused Yi Qinghuang, who was just about to turn around and leave, to stop in his tracks. "There's no need to ask. I'll tell you whose power Yi Qingwu is relying on. She's relying on my Yi Qinghan's power." Yi Qinghan originally didn't want to bully the weak. Therefore, he didn't do anything even though Xiao Yin had angered him. After all, his status was different now. There was no meaning in bullying such a small character. It wasn't until Yi Qinghuang appeared that he became a little interested, but he didn't leave immediately. Instead, he wanted to carefully observe how Yi Qinghuang had changed in the past 6 years. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you'll never be defeated with one observation. He had a whole new level of respect for Yi Qinghuang. Back then, he had crippled Yi Qinghuang's cultivation, but now he had really reached the level of a marquis. Furthermore, he didn't have the arrogance of the past, and his mind had become extremely mature. Look, he made his woman cry from anger with just a few words. Since his woman was being bullied, it wouldn't make sense if he didn't stand up for her. Therefore, he didn't hesitate and directly walked out with Yi Qingyu. "Yi Qinghan? Humph. I was wondering why Yi Qingwu was so arrogant. So it's because of your young clan leader's power. Young clan leader, you're so impressive, using your power to oppress others and bully the weak. The Yi family's reputation is growing in your hands." When Yi Qinghuang saw Yi Qinghan's expression gradually turn grim, he had a bone-deep hatred for Yi Qinghan. It was just that in the past 6 years, he had learned to endure and forcefully suppress the hatred in his heart. He continued to latch onto Yi Qingwu's mistakes, as well as Yi Qinghan's even more idiotic declarations the moment he came out. He was prepared to humiliate Yi Qinghan, just like how he had interrogated Yi Qingwu just now. He wanted to make Yi Qinghan lower his head in front of him, so that he could first get back some interest. He had always thought that Yi Qinghan had only gotten lucky and summoned a holy beast. Then, he had gotten lucky and obtained a body fusion battle technique. That was how he had gotten to where he was today. Therefore, he was very unconvinced. He felt that if he had a holy beast, he would definitely be 100 times more outstanding than Yi Qinghan, no, 1,000 times. The Yi family's reputation is, of course, growing in my hands. There's no doubt about this. Yi Qinghan did not sense the hidden meaning in Yi Qinghuang's words. He did not care about Yi Qinghuang's ridicule at all. He nodded and replied in a serious tone. Of course, he was not putting on an act about this. He had indeed earned a lot of face for the Yi family in the prefecture battle, in the god-slaying mountain, and in the barbarian city. He pulled Yi Qingwu over with one hand, gently wiped away the tears at the corner of her eyes, and then handed her over to Yi Qingyu to comfort. He then turned his head and looked at Yi Qinghuang and Yi Qingxian mockingly, and said coldly, "Since you said that I'm the young clan leader, why didn't you kneel down and salute me when you saw me?" According to the 5th and 8th rules of the clan, the status of the young clan leader is second only to the supreme elder of the clan. Except for the elders, all the disciples of the clan must kneel down and salute you when they meet. Since you and Yi Qingxian are not the elders of the clan and have not made any contributions to the clan, why didn't you kneel down when you saw me? Could it be that you too are ready to betray the clan? Huh? Chapter 330. Yi Qinghan's words reminded everyone that Article 58 of the Yi family's rules did state it clearly. If a member of the family didn't become an elder and didn't make any contributions to the family, he had to kneel before the young master and the grand elder. However, the rules were dead, and the two grand elders of the Yi family didn't care about these complicated etiquettes. Except for when Yi Qinghan had just returned to the Yi family, he had never allowed anyone to kneel before him after he accepted the family's disciples' kneel in the Ranjiating pavilion. Unexpectedly, Yi Qinghan didn't respond to Yi Qingquang's taunts and ridicule. Instead, he didn't play by the rules and suddenly emphasized his identity as the young master according to Yi Qingquang's words. This was obviously a show of strength to Yi Qingquang first, and it was an impeccable and unavoidable show of strength. "Greetings, young master." Yi Wushuang looked at Yi Qinghan, who was standing calmly and dignified without being angry, and a trace of admiration flashed through his eyes. He immediately pulled Yi Wubian and was about to kneel before Yi Qinghan. No need. As soon as they bent their knees, Yi Qinghan waved his left hand and released a trace of battle aura to support their bodies. He smiled at them and then turned to look at Yi Qingquang and Yi Qingxian. He said again, "What? Why aren't you bowing? Do you want me to summon the Tsang City guards to take you down and send you to the torture hall? Or punish you for breaking the family rules?" Yi Qinghan, don't go too far. Yi Qingquang's shrewdness that he had been holding back for a long time was completely shattered by Yi Qinghan's casual play. He shouted with a pale face. Today, he wanted to restore the prestige of the first branch. But if he knelt down to Yi Qinghan now, then the first branch's face would be ruthlessly swept to the ground again. However, if they didn't kneel, Yi Qinghan had every right to have them taken down. For a moment, they could only glare at Yi Qinghan angrily. What's wrong with that? They were both core disciples of the clan. If Yi Wushuang and Yi Wubian can kneel, why can't you? Could it be that my identity as the young patriarch is fake? I'll ask you again, are you going to kneel or not? Yi Qinghan's tone was still calm, and his expression did not change much. However, his words revealed a boundless, domineering, and majestic aura. Yi Qingquang was so angry that he fainted. His handsome face contorted slightly. He knew that Yi Qinghan was taking revenge for what he had done to him in the past. He mocked Yi Qinghan on Yilan Street back then, but he did not expect that he would suffer a greater humiliation at the same place today. There were people coming and going on Yilan Street, and there were so many people watching the show. If he really knelt down, he would be too ashamed to stay in the clan. He could only bite the bullet and endure it. Yi Wushuang, send the clan's signal flare and gather all the guards in Tsang City. Yi Qinghan smiled faintly and did not force Yi Qingquang anymore. Instead, he turned around and said to Yi Wushuang, "I'll do it." Yi Wushuang was a little hesitant, but Yi Wubian, who was next to him, shouted excitedly. Although she was a tiger girl with a bad temper, she was not a fool. Yi Qinghan had obviously stood up for her. If she still did not know how to fight for it, she would really be a fool. She knew very well what kind of power this handsome young master with a gentle smile had in the clan. Of course, she had to seize the opportunity. Bang! A beam of fiery red light flew out of Yi Wubian's hand and shot into the sky. Following a dull explosion, half of Tsang City was illuminated by fireworks. It was an emergency signal flare for the core disciples of the Yi family. As soon as they saw the signal, the highest-ranking guards and guardian elders of Tsang City had to be on the scene. The fireworks that filled the sky shocked the surrounding onlookers who did not know what was going on. It also made Yi Qingquang and the rest look as pale as snow. Yishan, was very helpless. When he saw the fireworks that bloomed in midair, his bitter face instantly turned bitter. 6 years ago, when he was still a small team leader of the Tsang City Guards, he encountered a dispute between the young masters of the clan on Yilan Street. At that time, he wanted to help the poor 7th child, but in the end, his words carried little weight, and he was not of much help. Instead, he was reprimanded by Yi Rong. 6 years had passed, and he had become a team leader from a small team leader. His strength had also soared to the first level of the Duke realm. However, there was another dispute between the young masters of the clan on Yilan Street. As early as when Yi Qingwu flipped out, he had already received the news. However, he did not come over. Instead, he brought some people and hid at the side, quietly observing the situation. He understood that this kind of dispute between the young masters and the young mistress was not something he could intervene in. If he did not handle it well, he might offend both sides and become the punching bag in the end. However, now that the emergency signal flare had been sent, he had no choice but to go. Helpless, he could only put on a long face and wave his hand. He led a large group of people hidden behind him and rushed forward. Yishan, who greets young master, Miss Wu, Miss Yu, Master Child Kwang, and young Master Xian. This subordinate greets young master, Miss Wu, Miss Yu, Master Child Kwang, and young Master Xian. A large group of people, all armed with blades and armor, rushed forward in an imposing manner. Then, they knelt on one knee in front of Yi Qinghan and the rest and shouted in unison. Their orderly footwork and cold expressions all displayed the toughness of the Yi family's high-level guards. Rise! Yi Qinghan had long known of the existence of Yi Shanhu and the rest. Nonsense! If the Tsang City guards did not receive the news after such a commotion, then they would be freeloading. Young master, may I know why you have summoned us? Yi Shanhu looked at the young man, standing calmly in front of him. A complicated feeling flashed across his eyes. This young man had left a deep impression on him. Back then, he was isolated and helpless, bullied and humiliated. Today, he stood there proudly, accepting the worship of the crowd. Life was unpredictable. Song City guards, listen up. Yi Qingquang and Yi Qingxian have violated the clan rules. Xiao Yin has insulted Miss Wu. As the young master, I order you to arrest all of them and bring them to the clan's punishment hall. Yi Qinghan seemed to want to play big today, so he didn't waste his breath and directly faced Yi Shanhu coldly and shouted in a deep voice. It was just that, the moment this order was given, everyone was shocked. Yi Shanhu was stunned. The Tsang City guards were stunned. Yi Wushuang, Yi Wubian, Yi Qingwu, and Yi Qingyu were speechless. Yi Qingquang, Yi Qingxian, and Xiao Yan's faces turned green. Their bodies began to tremble. They had originally thought that Yi Qinghan had summoned people to suppress Yi Qingquang. They did not expect him to give such an unbelievable order. Asking the Yi family's guards to arrest the first young master, second young master, and the first young master of the Yi family? Wasn't this a little too much? Young master, this? Yi Shanhu had a bitter face just now, but at this moment, when he heard Yi Qinghan's order, his bitter face directly turned into a loofah face, asking him to kill the Yi family's first young master and second young master. Even if he was given 100 guts, he wouldn't dare. Yi Qinghan still didn't waste any words, nor did he explain. He directly took out a black token from his unfettered ring. There were only 2 big words on the black token, Yi Huang. This was the highest level token in the clan leader's token. Yi Qinghan waved the token in the air. His face gradually became cold. He shouted in a deep voice, arrest them. Chapter 331. Whoosh whoosh. When Yi Shanhu and the Tsang City guards saw the black token, they merged with their battle beasts without hesitation and unsheathed their swords. Yi Shanhu gritted his teeth and his expression turned cold. He shouted and led his men toward Yi Qingquang. Take them all down. There was only one black token in the Yi family. It was the highest token in the family. Seeing the token was like seeing the family leader. The person who held the token could order all the powerful warriors in the Yi family, except for the Grand Elder, to do anything. At this moment, even if Yi Qinghan ordered them to kill Yi Qingquang, they would grit their teeth and do it. Yi Qingquang, Yi Qingxian, and the Emperor Realm warriors behind them turned pale when they saw Yi Qinghan show the Night Emperor's token. They didn't dare to resist, because the third rule stated that anyone who disobeyed the Night Emperor's order would be treated as a traitor and would be killed on the spot. Dozens of people rushed forward and tied up the 3 quickly. As for the Emperor Realm warrior, since Yi Qinghan didn't give the order, Yi Shanhu and the others didn't do anything. Whoosh! Right at this moment, a person suddenly flew over from the sky at high speed. He glided across the sky behind Yi Qinghan and landed on the battlefield. Facing Yi Shanhu and Yi Qinghuang was an elder in gray. He was an Emperor realm warrior from the Yi family since he could fly in the sky. He looked at the people surrounding Yi Qinghuang and the others. They were tied up and their faces were ashen. Furious, he shouted at Yi Shanhu, "Yi Shanhu, how dare you? How dare you tie up the young master of the family? Hurry up and untie me." "Greetings, Elder Yi Quan. But we can't just tie them up." When Yi Shanhu saw Nightwing, he felt even more bitter. Yi Quan was the guardian elder in charge of guarding Tsang City during this period of time. Obviously, he had rushed over after seeing the signal flare. Yi Quan was the elder in charge of the first branch. After being scolded by Night Spring, he lowered his body and winked at Night Spring, signaling him to look behind him. Yi Quan had flown over from behind Yi Qinghan. When he saw that Yi Qinghuang was tied up, he was anxious and didn't pay much attention to the others. When he saw Yi Shanhu winking at him, he quickly snapped out of his daze and turned around. When he saw Yi Qinghan standing there coldly, his expression became complicated, and when he saw the Night Emperor token in Yi Qinghan's hand, his expression became even more complicated. After pondering for a moment, he hurriedly cupped his hands in greeting and said very politely, "So the young clan head is also here? How did Master Child Kwang and young Master Xian offend the young clan head? Why did the young clan head use the Night Emperor token?" Yi Qinghuang had just returned to the Yi family castle, so he didn't know how much Yi Qinghan was favored by the Yi family. But Nightwing knew very well, just by looking at the Chilling Heart Pavilion, which was built with purple crystal coins, so he didn't dare to be impolite to Yi Qinghan. Yi Qinghan understood the meaning behind Nightwing's words. Nightwing was asking him why he used the highest level Night Emperor token for such a small matter. He didn't have a good impression of Nightwing. Back in the Enchanted Garden, Nightwing had cursed him on behalf of Yi Jian. At the same time, he had felt Yi Jian's murderous intent. So now that Nightwing was mocking him, he naturally didn't give him a good attitude. He put the Night Emperor token into his unfettered ring and said, "Elder Nightwing, do I need to answer to you? Of course I will give the family an explanation, but not you. You don't need to give me an explanation, but you are both young masters of the family, so I don't think you need to be so ruthless. Can you give me some face and let this matter go? If outsiders see this, it won't be good for the family's reputation. Don't you think so?" Nightwing didn't show any dissatisfaction in the face of Yi Qinghan's impoliteness. Instead, he acted as a peacemaker, giving Yi Qinghan enough face. "Brother, let it go." Yi Qingyu saw that the situation was getting more and more complicated, so she said worriedly. However, Yi Qingwu didn't care. This was a small matter to her, but she knew that it was nothing to Yi Qinghan. "Well, young master, let it go. This matter started because of Wu Shuang and his sister. If it gets out of hand, Wu Shuang and Wu Bian won't know how to explain it to the family." Yi Wu Shuang and Yi Wu Bian knelt down in front of Yi Qinghan again. When he saw Yi Qinghan taking action, he thought that his sister's marriage was going to be settled today. However, the situation was getting more and more complicated. He was very worried that Yi Qinghan and his grandfather, Yi Tianxing, would be implicated. "Stand up." Yi Qinghan waved his hand at Yi Qingyu, telling her not to worry. He turned to look at Yi Wushuang and Yi Wubian on the ground and said calmly, "As a disciple of the Yi family, you should have an unyielding fighting spirit and a will that is not afraid of any difficulties. You must have a domineering aura that even the heavens want to suppress you, and you must dare to pierce through the heavens. Today, I will help you and your sister to make the decision. In the future, I can't help you with everything. You can only rely on yourselves." He didn't care about the brother and sister whose faces were flushed and who were full of fighting spirit because of his words. Yi Qinghan glanced at Yi Qinghuang, who was tied up by Yi Shanhu. He didn't want to suppress them with his power today. He didn't want to show off his power as the young master. He decided after careful consideration that he wanted to find out Yi Qinghuang's background. Yi Qinghuang was disabled by him. Now, his strength had increased miraculously, and he had returned to the Yi family castle. He didn't know what happened during this period of time, but he instinctively felt a sense of danger from this strange incident. He knew very well how difficult it was for a cultivator whose dantian and meridians were destroyed to cultivate back to their original realm. However, Yi Qingguang did it now. Moreover, he had reached the powerful strength of a level 1 duke. He didn't have a treasure like his soul ring. How'd he do it? Therefore, he made a move today. He didn't hold back at all. It could even be said that he attacked unreasonably. He wanted to find out Yi Qingguang's background. He wanted to find out why he could return to the Yi family castle, even though the clan knew that they didn't get along. Who exactly was helping him in the dark? He wanted to force these people out. He had never been afraid of fighting openly. However, he was very afraid of conspiracies and plots behind one's back. After all, there were far too many people he needed to protect now. Therefore, he opened his mouth and didn't respond to Yi Quan's plea. Instead, he waved his hand at Yi Shanhu and said, "Untie Yi Qingguang and Yi Qingxian. Bring Xiao Yin to the punishment hall. At the same time, inform the Xiao clan to come to the clan's punishment hall." Yi Shanhu acted as though he had been pardoned when he heard this. He hurriedly untied Yi Qingguang and Yi Qingxian. Yi Quan also sighed in relief. After all, if the guards really escorted Yi Qingguang and Yi Qingxian to the punishment hall, the face of the first branch would be completely ruined. It seemed that Yi Qinghan had not taken things too far. "Humph! Yi Qinghan, just you wait. We will meet at the punishment hall. Today's matter will not end." Yi Qingguang had completely lost his face today. Originally, he wanted to suppress Yi Qingwu and Yi Qinghan. In the end, he viciously stared at Yi Qinghan and left with Yi Qingxian and the emperor's stage bodyguards. Yi Qinghan ignored Yi Qingguang's vicious gaze and threat. He wanted to force Yi Qingguang to attack and expose his trump card. He turned his head to look at Yi Wubian and faintly said, "Let's go to the clan's punishment hall. I will help you dissolve this marriage." Chapter 332. For such a big matter, even the emergency signal flare was used. Of course, the Yi family castle received the news. The elders also received the report immediately and roughly knew the ins and outs of the matter. When everyone arrived at the punishment hall, the hall was already filled with the elders of the clan. Yi Rong was dead, and the deputy elder of the punishment hall was given to the elder of the Warbeast Hall, Yi Tianqing, by Yi Tianlong. The head elder was still Yi Baihu, but if it wasn't a big matter, he wouldn't be disturbed. At this time, Tianqing was already sitting on the main seat. The second seat was occupied by the scholarly deputy elder of the Warbeast Hall, Yi Qinggang. Beside him were more than 10 elders with real power. This matter wasn't big at first. It was just that Yi Qingwu beat up a young master of a small clan in Song City. However, Yi Qingguang's attack and Yi Qinghan's attack escalated the matter. It had become a direct collision between the older generation of the Yi family and the new generation's popular young master, Yi Qinghan. On one side, there was the number one power of the old clan, which was incomparably powerful in the open and in the dark. Moreover, Yi Jian was about to come out of his closed-door training, and it was very likely that he would rise again. On the other side, there was a new power. Although it didn't form a complicated entanglement of interests and relationships, because of the existence of Yi Qinghan and Yi Qingyu, no one dared to look down on them. The first to arrive were Yi Qingguang, Yi Qingxian, and Yi Quan. Yi Qingguang directly walked to the punishment hall of the clan. He faced the big drum at the gate, raised his fist, and randomly smashed it, causing the entire Yi family castle to shake. After that, he angrily walked in with his people. Yi Qingguang greets Elder Tianqing, greets all the elders. "I beg all the elders to help me and my cousin. I want to sue Miss Wu for committing violence in front of everyone, and even wanting to kill Xiao Yin. She also ignored the clan rules and looked down on the punishment hall. Please punish her severely. I also want to sue young clan leader Yi Qinghan for using his power to oppress others, harming his fellow clansmen, and humiliating the three of us. I beg the clan to strip him of his position as young clan leader." Although everyone present had received some news, they were still shocked by Yi Qingguang's words. He was shocked by Yi Qingguang's accusation and request. Yi Qingwu was going to kill someone? Furthermore, he had killed the young master of the Shao family. And Yi Qingguang actually begged the torture chamber to punish Yi Qingwu for a serious crime, asking the family to strip Yi Qinghan of his position as young clan head. Yi Tianqing looked a little old after a few years. His hair and beard had turned even whiter. He had always been known as an honest and just person in the family. Now that he had received an accusation, he naturally had to do things according to the rules. He nodded and coughed softly. Yi Qingguang, you have to take responsibility for what you said. This is not a small matter. It's of great importance. I'm asking you, do you insist on your accusation? I insist. Yi Qingguang nodded heavily without hesitation. Good. Where are the guards of the punishment hall? Go and invite young clan leader and Miss Wu over. Yi Tianqing's face was expressionless as he directly threw out a token. The word Yi and the word punishment were engraved on both sides, representing the supreme authority of the Yi clan's punishment hall. Even the elders and the castellans of small cities could be taken down. No need. We're coming. Before the guards left, Yi Qinghan's indifferent voice came from outside. Then, Yi Qinghan walked in with Yi Qingwu, and the boundless siblings. Behind them, Yi Shanhu walked in with Xiao Yin, whose face was covered in blood. Greetings, elders. Yi Qinghan cupped his hands in greeting. Yi Qingwu greets elders. Although Yi Qingwu's position was special, she didn't have any position or power. She still had to follow the rules of the punishment hall. Yi Qingyu held Yi Qinghan's hand. She didn't say anything and just stood there quietly. Similarly, she didn't have any position in the Yi family. However, the elders didn't dare to blame her. After all, her position in the Yi family was the most special. She was someone who was going to become a god. Night Mountain Tiger pays his respects to all the elders. Young clan leader, the person is here. I'll go back to my duty first. After bowing, Yi Shanhu immediately prepared to leave. He couldn't participate in this matter. Of course, he had to leave first. Elders of the Yi family, please help me. Yi Qingwu beat me up in public and wanted to kill me. If it wasn't for Child Kuang's timely arrival, my life would have been long gone. Our Shao family has always been the most loyal partner of the Yi family. We've always followed the Yi family's lead. Miss Wu actually wanted to kill me in public today. This sob. Elders, please help me. Otherwise, I'd rather kill myself in the punishment hall. When Xiao Yin mentioned the punishment hall, he was already trembling in fear. However, a moment later, he began to howl and complain about Yi Qingwu's crimes. It was obvious that he received instructions from someone. Yi Wushuang and Yi Wubian greet elders. Actually, today's matter was caused by us siblings. It has nothing to do with young clan leader Miss Wu. If the family wants to punish us, Wushuang is willing to bear the punishment together with us. We won't complain about it. Yi Wushuang and Yi Wubian knelt down heavily. Yi Qinghan's words at Niulan Street just now had a huge impact on Yi Wushuang. He actually mustered his courage and voluntarily begged for forgiveness. Wushuang Wubian, you two bastards. What stupid thing did you do? You actually made young clan leader and Master Child Kuang at odds? If you cause any trouble in the family, you won't be able to escape death. I'll definitely kill you with my own hands. As soon as Yi Wushuang finished speaking, an old man stood up beside him. His face was filled with anger as he scolded loudly. He was the elder of the War Beast Academy, Yi Wushuang's grandfather, Elder Yi Tianqing. Elder Tianqing, don't be angry. They didn't do anything wrong. Instead, I admire their temperament and way of doing things. Yi Qinghan was very satisfied with Yi Tianqing's scolding in the name of reprimand, but it was actually a protective scolding. He hurriedly took over and performed a two-man show. He didn't feel the slightest bit worried or afraid about the torture hall. Instead, he was very interested and excited to fight a vigorous lawsuit. All right, Tianqing, sit down first. Young clan leader and everyone else, please calm down. Yi Wushuang, since you said that this matter was caused by your siblings and you were at the scene, tell us everything that happened. Remember, you must tell the truth. Otherwise, I'll punish you for lying. Tianqing spoke. He knew that Yi Tianqing and Yi Qinghan were performing a two-man show. Since he was in this position, he could not be partial to either side. Everything was based on the clan's rules. Otherwise, everyone would be dissatisfied. Hence, he stopped the two from acting. This is what happened. Today, my sister and I went to Nilan Street to buy some demonic crystals for my sister's battle beast. We didn't expect to meet young Master Xiao Yin. Then, young clan leader brought us to the punishment hall. That's what happened. I swear I didn't change anything. Although Yi Wushuang wanted to help him and Yi Qinghan hide something, there were so many people at the scene. Of course, he could not distort the truth since there were so many people at the scene. Hence, he told them everything that happened. Idiot! Once everything was clear, Tianqing and all the elders looked at Yi Qinghuang. Their first thought was, idiot. Regardless of whether they belonged to the first branch or the neutral elders or the opposing elders, they all thought the same. Yi Qinghuang, you were the first to accuse us. What do you have to say? Tianqing did not say much. He did not ask the other elders to speak or make things difficult for Yi Qinghuang. Instead, he followed the procedure and asked about Yi Qinghuang first. The truth is obvious. Yi Qingwu beat up Xiao Yin in public and even wanted to kill him on the street. This is extremely bad. If we don't punish him severely, we won't be able to appease the public. However, Yi Qinghan used his power to suppress us and tied us up in public. The impact of this is even worse. Not only did he discredit the first branch, but he also showed the Yi family's internal strife to the world. He seriously damaged the reputation of the Yi family. If we don't get rid of such an immoral and incompetent young clan leader, how can we convince the public? Yi Qinghuang's words were filled with righteousness and righteousness. It was as if the Yi family did not punish the two of them. The entire first branch would not be convinced, and the whole continent would see the Yi family as a joke. They would mention Yi Qinghan's moral character and swore to pull Yi Qinghan off his high horse. Otherwise, they would not let it go. Young clan leader, do you have anything to say? Before the elders could say anything, Tianqing sighed again. He turned to look at Yi Qinghan and asked solemnly, I don't have anything to say. Yi Qinghan also sighed. He looked at Yi Qinghuang with some disappointment. He did not explain anything. Instead, he asked with great interest, I am very curious. Who allowed this idiot to return to the Yi family castle? Chapter 333. As soon as Yi Qinghan finished speaking, everyone present had a complicated expression on their faces. Everyone knew that Yi Qinghuang was an idiot, but there was no need for the young clan leader to say it out loud, right? It was obvious that Yi Qinghuang had been exposed to the sea breeze in the small city by the sea for a few years. Although he seemed to have matured a lot, his mentality had not improved at all. His stupidity was in his arrogance. Did he think that he could continue to be as arrogant as before after returning to the Yi family castle after his great increase in strength? Did he think that Yi Qinghan was still the seventh son of the Yi family from back then? Did he want to make a move without even knowing the strength of the enemy? What was he if not an idiot? Putting aside the fact that Yi Qingwu was the granddaughter of Yi Qingyu, many elders had secretly learned that Yi Qingyu would become a god in a few years' time. This news carried a lot of weight. So what if Yi Jin had broken through to the Saint Realm and left the back mountain? One Yi Qingyu alone was worth 10 Yi Jins. Moreover, Yi Qinghan had been bestowed the status of young clan leader by the elder ancestor, and it would never change. How dare you come here to make a fuss without even knowing this? The clan had secretly warned Yi Qinghuang not to provoke Yi Qinghan. Who would have thought that he would be so arrogant and start a fight within a few days of returning? Wasn't this just asking for trouble? Cough, cough. Young clan leader, please watch your words. The unity of the clan is the most important. Tianqing looked a little helpless. He coughed lightly and gave Yi Qinghan a look, meaning to give him some face and not make things too difficult for him. After all, this was the clan's torture chamber. If they caused a ruckus here, the torture chamber would lose its prestige, and it would be difficult to manage the younger generation of the clan in the future. Yes, Qinghan was wrong. It was just a moment of inspiration. Please don't take it to heart. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. Tian Qing had always treated Yi Qinghan quite well. Back then, he had even spoken up for him in the infatuation garden. Of course, Yi Qinghan had to give him face. He was very straightforward and directly admitted his mistake. Did everyone see that? Yi Qinghan actually insulted me in front of everyone in the disciplinary court. With such conduct and talent, how could he be a role model for the younger generation of the family? How would he lead the Yi family in the future? Yi Qinghuang boldly begged to convene an elder council to revoke Yi Qinghan's young clan patriarch status. Otherwise, I'll be the first to be dissatisfied. Yi Qinghuang saw Tian Qing reprimanding Yi Qinghan, and he admitted his mistake in front of everyone. So he quickly cupped his hands and said indignantly. From the looks of it, he was prepared to use this matter to pull Yi Qinghan down from the position of young clan patriarch. In the small city, someone had planted a soul seed in him. With the help of that person, his strength had been forcefully raised. Moreover, he had used all the hidden forces of the first branch to return to the Yi family castle with great difficulty. This time, of course, he wanted to use all methods to take revenge. Therefore, he wanted to use today's matter to first pull Yi Qinghan down, collect some interest, and then slowly kill him. Yi Qinghuang's emotional accusation caused many people's faces to be filled with black lines, and the word idiot could be seen on their foreheads. However, this matter was not something that could be said openly. The elders of the first branch couldn't help but want to stop Yi Qinghuang's speech several times. However, they were afraid that Yi Qinghan would find out. He could only frown deeply. How could it be worse than the word worry? Yi Qinghan, on the other hand, felt that life was as lonely as snow. He had originally thought that Yi Qinghuang would be a strong opponent. Now it seemed that the forces behind him had helped him. He had overestimated him. Such an idiot had become his opponent. He felt a faint sense of sadness. At this moment, he thought of a famous saying from his previous life. He no longer paid attention to Yi Qinghuang, who was getting more and more excited. He looked through the door and softly murmured, no matter how awesome Chopin is, he can't play out my sadness. Idiot! Before Yi Qinghan could finish lamenting, a deep roar sounded outside the torture chamber. The two words that everyone had wanted to curse out were said unscrupulously by the person outside. For a moment, everyone was shocked. When Yi Qinghuang heard these two words, his expression became incomparably angry. Then, he was stunned for a moment before he became ecstatic. He cried out in surprise, "Lord Father!" The elders rose from their seats and looked at the door of the torture chamber with complicated expressions. Although they had not heard this voice for a few years, it was still fresh in their memories. This voice was Yi Jian's voice. Of course, they were shocked that Yi Jian could appear here today. This was very significant. This meant that he had walked out of the condemnation cliff. This meant that he had successfully broken through to the Sage Realm. This meant that the Yi family had one more Sage Realm powerhouse. Greetings, elders. Greetings, young clan leader. Yi Jian greets everyone. A tall middle-aged man walked in from the door. His expression was calm, and his steps were steady. He had the temperament of an expert. 6 years of imprisonment did not change Yi Jian's appearance much. It was just that his face was a little pale. It was probably because he had not been able to see the sun for many years at the condemnation cliff. Big brother, you finally succeeded? Congratulations, big brother. You have finally taken this step. Pass down my order. Prepare a celebratory feast. The first person to speak was the silent Yi Chong. He had seen Yi Jian some time ago and knew that he was only one step away from the Sage Realm. He did not expect him to achieve it so quickly. Congratulations, congratulations. The family has gained another Sage Realm powerhouse. We do need to celebrate. Yi Jian, I guess it won't be long before you become the third supreme elder of the Yi family. Tian Qing also smiled. No matter what mistakes Yi Jian had made, it was the Yi family's blessing that he could enter the Sage Realm. Great news, great news. For a moment, all the elders left their seats and congratulated Yi Jian. Yi Qinghan squinted his eyes when he saw Yi Jian. He was secretly shocked, but he did not show it on his face. When he saw Yi Jian come in, he did not say anything. Instead, He politely addressed him as young master. Although Yi Jian was his enemy, it was still a great thing for the Yi family that he had broken through to the sage realm. Therefore, he sincerely cupped his hands and said, "Congratulations, first uncle, on breaking through to the sage realm. You're too polite. I just broke through by luck. If you work hard, this day will come sooner or later. Third brother, you have to work harder and take the last step. Celebratory feast. I think we should skip it. I am focusing on Dao now. Everything else is just dust." Yi Jian was praised and flattered by everyone, but his expression did not change at all. He still looked calm and gentle, like a master who had achieved Dao. Father, you have to help me. Yi Qinghan." Yi Qinghuang was like a king. Yi Jian had returned with great power. His expression immediately became extremely excited. After Yi Jian and the other elders finished exchanging greetings, he hurriedly interjected. He wanted to use the momentum of Yi Jian's return to settle this matter completely. Slap. The response was a loud slap. Yi Jian's expression did not change. He directly sealed Yi Qinghuang's mouth with a slap. Then, he gently retracted his hand and turned to look at Yi Qinghan and said, "Young master, Qinghuang has been spoiled by me. Don't mind him. Yi Quan, why don't you take this idiot back? Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough?" You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.